children. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
This is ESPN 1025 The Game. Robbie Stanley.
Sometimes the overthinking that takes place, pretty mind-boggling.
Joe Rexroad.
Thought there was an issue. There's not an issue. There's no issue. They're doing wonderful.
Wake up and hang out with Robbie and Rexroad every weekday morning from 6 to 10.
Taking care of business this early in the morning.
On Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
I do not want to deprive people of a close-up of my face.
Watch live on YouTube, Twitch, and Periscope. From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne.
Chase Elliott scores the win in the Ally 400 at the Nashville Super Speedway.
Nashville's exclusive home for NASCAR. 1025 and 1063.
Terang, it's a high fly ball.
We got pass rushers.
Awesome game set.
Checkered flag in the air.
The Game.
a Cromwell Media Station.
Now let's see if we can bring them to life, all right?
Bringing you entertainment and informative sports talk during your workday.
Smart, funny, classy, and I like him a lot.
This is Chase, Willy, and D-Mase with Chase McCabe, Willy Donick,
Mason, touchdown, Tennessee.
and former NFL wide receiver Derek Mason on Nashville's best sports talk, 1025 and 1063 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
This is a new level of geek you got going on here.
And good morning, everybody. Welcome in to Chase, Willy, and D-Mase on this Friday. Really excited to bring you the show today as we look ahead to the weekend. The suit, Chase McCabe, is off today. D-Mase will be along here in just a few moments, and we will look forward to picking his brain today. We're going to do it all. We got our weekly conversation with Eddie George coming up at 1 o'clock. We'll have the Ask D-Mase segment at 12:30, which has become must-listen-to radio, and you can get involved in that as well. And look, I realize it. D-Mase is on for 4 hours, so people ask D-Mase. We ask D-Mase a lot, but we really get it down to the nitty-gritty at 12:30 because we ask technical questions from the football side, historical questions based on maybe his experiences in his career, and also just fun life questions as well. So in the meantime, before we get D-Mase in here, Robbie Stanley on the carryover for the one segment is still with us from Robbie and Rexo. Robbie, how's your stamina right now? You did the complete show. It's Friday. I mean, you could easily just bolt out of here and be done.
Willie, I'm doing great. We had Jeremy Piven in, comedian and actor, at 8:45. He infused energy into the program.
Oh, man.
A lot of energy with that guy, so I'm feeling good.
That guy
I'm ready to go.
That guy is really good. That guy has been – I mean, I go back to, like, some of the movies he was in when he was younger, even before the what was the HBO
Entourage?
Entourage, yeah. He was great in that. But, man, yeah.
First thing I thought of was Old School. I was like, oh, yeah, he was in Old School. How about that?
He was there. Grosse Point Blank.
Oh, yeah.
Anyone? Yeah, that's a good one. It's one of my faves there. So, Rob, you've been hanging out. I know we're talking so much Titans right now, and it's like crisis in week 2 here with them going to Buffalo, 10-point underdog, the rough ending to the game against the Giants, all of the issues they have. And it's a little bit of a lighter week in college football, not a lot of marquee matchups here. But we really haven't gotten into the Predators much yet. Training camp officially will start next week, and then before you know it, they'll be off and running here. But you've been watching some of their informal workouts that they've been doing in preparation. And it's interesting to sort of set some of the things, some of the themes that we're going to see here in a few days.
It's been really interesting, and they were basically out there in informals the other day and had just a full scrimmage going on, 5-on-5. And pretty much every one of the regulars are back at this point. I didn't see Trenton out there the other day, so we'll see as camp gets closer, what that looks like as they move forward here. But pretty much everybody's back. They look great. A lot of people reacted the other day to the real deal, James Neal being out there with him. He's on a PTO with Columbus, so I'm interested to see, can he make the team and stick around at the NHL level? He was at the AHL level a little bit to end the season last year. But, it's interesting to watch. One thing that stood out to me, and maybe this was just a one scrimmage thing and you're just playing out there and you end up in the situation a lot, but Roman Josi playing a whole lot on his offside the other day. Matthias Ekholm playing a whole lot on his offside the other day too. And I don't know what that means. Maybe they just got caught out there a few times, but it was pretty consistent that they were doing that. And, obviously when you think about the top four setup on defense, like, we'll get to Nino Niederreiter, who looks really good here in just a few minutes. But it is going to be interesting if you go like the traditional top four setup with the new look defense core that they have. And if you believe your four best defensemen, three of those are definitely Josi, Ekholm, and McDonough, which I believe. If you're playing those four guys a lot, somebody's going to have to play on their offside, and I'm interested to see who that's going to be. I just kind of in my mind's eye thought it was going to be Ekholm because we've seen him do it, and he's done it pretty well before, but I found that to be pretty interesting. But they, a lot of familiarity. Matt Duchene still looks great. Forsberg looks great, and I think Predators fans are really going to enjoy the way that Nino Niederreiter plays the game this year.
I do think that will be one of the bigger things to watch in camp is who ends up meshing with whom. And that is an interesting observation that they've both been trying it out. Roman Josi and Matthias Ekholm playing their quote-unquote offside. So who's the best fit with Ryan McDonough? That's going to be the question. How does it because I, in my mind, have been kind of visualizing Ekholm, but the whole summer when they acquired PK Subban, I was envisioning Subban and Josi being
me too.
the pair, and it really didn't happen. They almost never played together. They were better off on separate pairs. So maybe you don't know until you actually get out there and try it. So they'll probably spend some days at camp trying to figure out and try different things. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw an exhibition game where you had it one way and then the next exhibition game you tried it a different way.
Yeah, I think that absolutely could be the way that things go. And, some of this is also with the younger guys. I mean, Tomasino, what sort of a role can he play? Cody Glass has been out there a lot. Eli Tolvanen's been out there a lot. They've gotten in some work even before most of the other veteran guys have come out there at the skate. Like, I think if you're a guy like Cody Glass and Eli Tolvanen to a certain degree, like, this is an important camp from the standpoint of, like, we know Tolvanen's going to be on the team. Like, Cody Glass needs to make this team out of camp. Like, this should be a time where he makes the team out of camp. And I think there's a spot that's available and is there for him. But, there are guys like Michael McCarron still hanging around. I mean, they've, Sanford they brought in, be a free agency in the offseason as well. I think he's going to have a role with this team. So there are some spots at the bottom part of the roster that as we head into camp here, especially at forward, are going to be really interesting to watch. And I'll say this, Tomasino, he looks quick out there. Looks really good so far.
He's a big jump from him would mean a ton, I think, in the big picture. You also mentioned Nino Niederreiter. We had a fun conversation on Monday. Roman Josi stopped by our table out at Brent Peterson's golf tournament for the Predators Foundation, Peterson for Parkinson's. And he talked about, he was pretty open about when Nino Niederreiter, after the first couple of days of free agency, didn't get into that first wave, and he was out there. Roman Josi said, once I got the go-ahead from the team, hey, we're interested, I was not afraid to give him a call. He's known him for a long time, and he pretty much sold him on coming to Nashville. So he's a key guy, so you've been watching him.
He's looked really good, and it's an interesting addition from the standpoint of it helps you offensively, obviously, which is what you're looking for in a top six player. And I'm interested to see where exactly he fits in and where he plays, whether that's with Granlund or whether that's with Johansson. But also, I think it's more than just the offensive pop. I think it's the way he plays the game. Like the way he plays the game, the style, the physicality that he brings, the power forward type game that he has. I think that fits right in line with what John Hines wants to do. So it's more than just you look at his traditional stats and you're like, all right, well, he's pretty much a 20-goal guy every year. He's right around that, which is great. Like the Predators definitely need that as a part of their top six. But he makes a lot of smaller winning plays that I think go under the radar that can serve this team really well. And if you remember him from the playoff series a couple of years ago against Carolina, kind of pain in the butt to play against, which I think definitely fits right into what John Hines wants to be. So he's a really intriguing guy to me. Like, I don't think he's going to go out there and score like 35 goals or anything for the Predators, but to me, if he plays exactly the way he's played in Carolina, which is basically a 20, 22-goal guy, pretty good playmaker as well, can be on that second power play unit, but also the way that he plays, I think that fits in really well with the Predators. So I'm interested to see who he plays with.
That's one of the things. I agree. Where he plays, who he plays with has to be sorted out, but the way he plays definitely is a fit. One of the best things that the Hurricanes have done over the last few years is forecheck, and he's a big-time part of that. He's a great forechecker, and it's also something that Nashville wants to do. What I'm intrigued about is Niederreiter's that edgy player. Carolina comes at you, they're just in your face with speed and tenacity. It's not as much the physicality.
Yep.
But Niederreiter now has a little bit of that edge to his game, and now he's backed by McCarron and Trennan and Jeannot and guys who can back it up with some physicality.
Yeah, throw in
big
Sanford
hitting
in there too. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So that'll be interesting to see, what he can do in that role on a team like this as opposed to where he's been, because he was obviously – that's one of the more lopsided trades of the last 5 to 7 years when Carolina acquired him for Victor Rask. I mean, that was a big upgrade. And so now – so this is Niederreiter's fourth team. So he's been used to changing teams over the course of his career. Once upon a time, he played with Mikael Granlund as young players in Minnesota. And so I was looking at the history there. They did play together some, but it's been a long, long time. So I don't know if you just automatically say there's chemistry there. You'd have to reinvent or rediscover some chemistry, but definitely something to look for. Let's talk about the rookies. They're playing in their camp right now. They'll have the prospect games that they'll go down. It's always intriguing. I can remember when Philip Forsberg was in these games. We saw Tomasino in these games. We saw Dante Fabro a couple years ago. A lot of those guys have come up through the ranks playing in these practices here. So this is the next step in the process. I'm curious about a couple of guys, so I'll bounce them off you. Last year, people may not remember, but Igor Afanasyev was one of the last cuts, and then he really didn't have a huge season in Milwaukee, which happens sometimes.
Yep.
But he's an important guy in the future. This is a big year for him. Is he a prospect, or has he lost a little bit of the luster? We'll find out.
We're going to find out about him. I mean, the thing you love about him is the size that he brings to the table. He's a good playmaker, a good finisher, but he's a big guy. So anytime you can get somebody at that size that can skate, you feel pretty good about. Like you said, he was one of the last cuts last year at training camp. I thought he was okay in Milwaukee last year, and talking to people down there a little bit about him, maybe didn't pop the way that they thought he would last year in Milwaukee. So this is a big camp for him in terms of, can you put yourself in a position where you're challenging for a roster spot out of camp? I think there's only so many roster spots that are available and up for competition for the Predators based on the way that their team looks right now. But can you force your way into that conversation? At least, I mean, he didn't even get called up last year. So can you force your way into an early call-up situation if you're Afanasyev as well? He's talked about it. He's ready to go out there and prove that he belongs. This is a huge camp for him. He needs to impress out there to the way. And I think unless he just blows it up at camp, you're probably going to see him go back down to Milwaukee to begin the season. And if that's the case, how do you handle that if you're him? Can you be productive from the jump?
I think that is an underrated thing. You kind of we love to see who makes the team on day one, but for example, Cody Glass made the opening day roster last year, but he was gone after 2 games, and then we didn't see him for months after that. But he did, to his credit, go down and have a really good season in Milwaukee. But if you can put yourself in the position to where once that spot opens up, you're the guy that they're calling to, that's sort of, I think, what I'm looking at for Afanasyev. The other guy that everybody's been buzzing about is Parssinen, this kid from Finland who was a low-round pick that just has really come on like gangbusters the last couple of years. And when I hear the term NHL ready being thrown around for a guy, that was kind of the label on him during the Futures game. That week when they were here in the summer, he was the guy everybody's saying, hey, watch him. He's probably the closest to making the NHL, which surprised me a little bit.
Well, he's a 7th-round pick back in 2019, and you take guys like that and you never really know how it's going to pan out. Most of them don't work out, and they don't make it to the NHL. But, you look at the league. I mean, he's been playing over in Finland, and he was playing in the Finnish Elite League, the same league that Alexander Barkov was lighting it up before he joined the Florida Panthers and was drafted that year. And look, I'm not comparing him to Barkov or anything like that, but I mean, he did have 32 points in 41 games. That's a grown man's league last year at 21 years old. So he's a really intriguing guy, bigger guy, 6'2", about 200 pounds. So I agree. Like he's intriguing from the standpoint of, can he force his way into the conversation? A lot of times when you start to play against, older competition, which he's done, that translates, I think, a little quicker to the NHL level. He's handled that well. Now can you handle the speed of the NHL? That's going to be something to monitor, but give him credit. I mean, he's come basically out of nowhere, and the last couple of years has played really well, where all of a sudden, if you're David Poile, you're looking around and saying, pretty good 7th-round pick that's turned out here.
You love when those guys come around. Once upon a time, those guys like Zetterberg and Dotzig. I'm not saying he's going to be like that.
Hornquist,
yeah. I mean, obviously Pecorine, but like if you get a low-round pick that hits, man, that has everything fall into line. All right, Robbie, before we let you go, a lot of rumblings about Nathan McKinnon's contract. How big is it going to be? It's going to get done. It does look like the vibe is it'll be done before the season starts. So we know it's going to be $10 million or more based on what they've said.
Oh, yeah.
But is it 10 or is it like 12.5? 12.5 would be highest paid player kind of stuff. But like every dollar counts. Like if you're the rest of the Central Division or the rest of the West, you want that to be as high as it can because that might squeeze out one of their key players in the middle of their roster.
Well, the highest paid player in the league right now is Connor McDavid, and he's at 12.5. And I think everybody would agree Connor McDavid is probably the best player in the league. But if I'm Nathan McKinnon and I'm his camp and I'm saying, okay, that's fine if you think that, we just won a Stanley Cup, and I was a pretty huge part of it. So I think it's going to creep more towards the $11 million range, somewhere in there. And like you said, I mean, the idea of him playing for Colorado for another 8 years, you don't like it if you're another team. But if he's going to be there anyway, let's just drive that price up.
Drive it up.
Dismantle the rest of the team.
That's right. I mean, you see the issues that teams like the Maple Leafs are having when they have a lot of high-end guys and it takes up a big percentage. It's harder to make the rest of your roster work. It is a challenge. Robbie, thanks for sticking around. Looking forward to the season coming around here, and have the rest of the weekend to rest up. We'll talk to you on Monday.
Sounds good. Thanks, Willie.
All right, that's Robbie from Robbie and Rex Road. Robbie Stanley, who hosts Monday through Friday, doing a little overtime with us. D-Mase will join us when we come back on the other side. We'll get into last night's game between the Chargers and the Chiefs. We'll find out what we learned from that. And at the bottom of the hour, we're going to go up to Buffalo, and we will check in with the Bills. Their play-by-play voice, John Murphy, is going to join us at 10:30. So stay tuned. We got a lot coming here on Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, ESPN 102.5, The Game 106.3, and The Game Nashville app.
Let's put the green flag in the air and turn them loose.
Nashville's home for NASCAR.
He's going to try to make a big move here.
Is brought to you by the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. We are your racing station.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And the Game Nashville app.
Hi guys, it's Andrew with Hillside Medical Clinic. Is erectile dysfunction damaging your relationship? Are you sick of the pill and all the side effects? Well, welcome to the future. We have a major medical breakthrough. Hillside Medical Clinic uses the most advanced form of wave therapy. Backed by 60 clinical studies, our technology uses pressure waves to repair and open up blood vessels. We've helped countless men get rid of their ED. But what is the true end result? Their relationship, even their lives, improve drastically. If you're ready to regain your love life, call us right now, and not only will the assessment and ultrasound be free, we'll also give you a gift that produces immediate results in the bedroom. It almost never fails. This is worth $550, and it's free to callers right now. 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and experience what I call the happiness ripple effect. Call Hillside Medical Clinic now, 615-576-5000.
It's grillin' and chillin' season, and Hiller is giving away backyard freebies all September. This month, when you upgrade to a new tankless water heater, we'll give you a free Yeti Tundra cooler, or get a free Traeger grill with any new whole home generator. And we're offering special zero-interest financing for up to 48 months on select new HVAC system replacements. Book online at happyhiller.com today. Happy you'll be, or the service is free.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
The two most sought-after, most prestigious names in bridal jewelry come together for one epic event next weekend at Genesis Diamonds.
Tacori and Viraggio, the world's premier designers, will be showing off their entire collections. All the latest designs, many showcased for the first time ever, with up to $5,000 in savings.
Everyone loves Tacori, meticulously crafted by master artisans in their California design studio. Discover the hidden details and exceptional quality that sets Tacori apart. There's always more than meets the eye with Tacori. Come explore the entire Tacori collection, including all new Tacori fine jewelry, earrings, bracelets, eternity bands, pendants, and more.
If you're engagement ring shopping, this is a once-a-year event you can't miss. Other jewelers aren't even allowed to carry these iconic American-made brands.
Also for this event, Genesis is showcasing an expanded selection of GIA-certified diamonds in all shapes and sizes.
Next weekend, September 23rd through 25th, take advantage of special incentives, zero-interest financing, and as much as $5,000 in savings. Only at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Parman Tractor and Equipment is your one-stop tractor and equipment solution and Middle Tennessee's Link Belt and Takeuchi dealer. No matter how you're getting there, start with Parman Tractor and Equipment. Rent or purchase a track loader, mini excavator, large excavators for your job site, or something in between. Their service and parts team will get your work site up and running in no time. Parman Tractor and Equipment will come to you for service if needed. Visit ParmanTractor.com for more info. Your Middle Tennessee Link Belt and Takeuchi dealer, providing totally outrageous customer service.
We want to hear from you.
Thanks for taking the call.
Join the conversation. Call or text at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. This is Chase, Willy, and D-Mase on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and on the Game Nashville app.
Nobody's there to slow him down, picks up that momentum. Big guy to bring down.
Again, quick tempo, and picked off at the 1-yard line. That is Watson out in front. Snead to protect him as well. All the way for the touchdown. Unreal.
Watch what happens where you use outside leverage. He sits to the outside, and that's what Herbert sees. It's a top of the route. He thinks he's got inside, so he's got a chance to throw to the inside, and instead of being able to put it there, it's jumped. Perfect timing. Great job by a rookie in Watson to step in front of that throw.
Definitely the play of the game last night in the victory for the Chiefs over the Chargers in Week 2, the first Amazon Prime Thursday night game of the season. Derek Mason has joined me, Willy Donick here on this Friday. Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, ESPN 102.5 The Game. Don't forget, you can check in on our phone or text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, and we are right here in the Hillside Medical Game Studio. D-Mase, happy Friday to you.
Hey, happy Friday, Willy.
So tell people what you're doing. You were watching your niece here this morning.
Yeah, my niece, she asked if I would go to her PE day a few weeks ago. Well, actually, like a month or two ago. And I agreed to go to it. So today was the day. PE, you know, all the kids are excited. There's about 40 kids in there, 2 classes. So it's about 40, 45 kids in there, and these kids and parents, and you never really, you know, when you walk into a gym room after so many years, especially elementary, you realize it's not as big as what I thought it was when I was a kid. But then actually when you have to start doing activities in it, then you realize, yeah, it's still big. So we had to run around, you know, the basketball court twice, and then we had to do different exercises, push-ups, crunches, squats, you know. Ooh. So every time you do an exercise, you had to run around the gym twice. And then we played bowling, which was really fun. Then we played sort of knock the pins down, where you had your own little circle, your pin, and you had to protect your pin from everybody else throwing balls, balls trying to knock down your pin. It was fun. I had a really good time. So and those kids had a wonderful time, and you know, met the coaches there. They were great. So had a good old time, man.
All right.
So
very good stuff. Let's talk about last night's game between the Chiefs and the Chargers. We asked the question yesterday when we were previewing the game, would we see something different from the Chargers? When you have to win at Arrowhead Stadium, you're going to have to do well at crunch time. at the end of the night, if you had Justin Herbert as your fantasy quarterback, he got you a lot of points. He lost some on that pass we just listened to. But at the end of the day, even though he was gutsy, he had the injury at the end of the game that he was trying to overcome, and he let him down the field and they scored. But the Chargers at the end of the night had the same kind of result that we're used to seeing a lot, losing the close game.
Yeah. You know the phrase Clemsoning. We all know that. And Dabo finally got over that hump, and no one, reference Clemsoning anymore on that campus. Well, we should start referencing Charger, because this is what the Chargers do. As good as they are, both offensively and defensively, as good as the coach is calling plays from an offensive standpoint, they always manage to do something at a critical point of the game that costs them. So when you talk about teams that have the potential to go to the Super Bowl, or quarterbacks that are ascending, there's no way you can put Herbert in front of Mahomes, Josh Allen, those 3 or 4 top quarterbacks. There's no way you can put him next to them. It's them, and then there's a space or two, and then you put Herbert. You put Burrow in front of Herbert, actually, because this is what the Chargers do. They play well throughout the game. You think, oh, my goodness, this team has it. And then at the end, they do something that messes it up. So, until that stops happening, then you always look at the Chargers as, yeah, they're a good team, but Herbert's a good quarterback, but, he has to get over that hump and that stigma of, and not all of it's his fault. He's only in his second year. But I'm saying that team and him are going to have to get over that stigma of, yeah, they're good, but they always manage to do something at the end. No matter if they got LT, no matter if they got Drew Brees, it doesn't matter who's the quarterback or who's the coach or what Hall of Fame player they have. Junior said it doesn't matter. They always do something in the end that cost them the game. But that was a really good game last night. It was a really good. And Kansas City, they have problems in the secondary, and they have problems. They're sort of in the same boat as the Titans in a sense, from a skilled player standpoint. The only difference is the Kansas City Chiefs have a Hall of Fame tight end in Kelsey. Mm-hmm. The Titans don't, but they still have the same problems trying to find a playmaker.
Without Tyreek Hill.
Yeah,
that was going to be one of my questions for you. Is how do you think
Hartman
that offense
is not
looked?
a playmaker. Scantley hasn't consistently proven he's a playmaker. The kid that came from Pittsburgh, his best years are behind. Yeah, Juju. Yeah. His best years are behind him. They got to find a playmaker on the outside for Patrick Mahomes, because right now they don't have it. They got some good players, but not a playmaker like Tyreek Hill.
So you want to see more, even though they've done well. Here they are 2-0. They're probably sitting there going, got to feel pretty good about the post-Tyreek Hill situation. But week to week, that is something to watch for. Another thing that I observed with Herbert, at the end of the game, of course, he took some shots. He will hold that ball.
Oh, yeah.
And they don't have a great offensive line. He was under a lot of heat. And it's almost like with Burrow, you take for granted that he's so good that he's still going to excel despite the fact that that's maybe one of the weaker units on their team. But can he hold up? Right at the end, he was hurting there. Yeah. So that would be a concern of mine if I'm the Chargers. Is how often can he sit back there? He'll hold the ball. He makes plays, but he's going to take some punishment.
Well, he gutted it out, and he made some crucial throws. Now, I'm still wondering why he made the 3rd and 2 throw to the ground where he could walk for the first down. I didn't understand that.
Did he just have a shooting pain or something?
Yeah, it must have been.
Somebody took a voodoo doll or something like.
And he just
there's nobody near him.
He lost all awareness of where he was on the field, because he could have ran for the first down, and he just you saw it was almost like like one of those moments where you're about to get sacked, so you just got to throw the ball away, or you're running out of bounds, so you got to throw the ball away. That's what he did. And it was like, dude, you got 5 yards, it's 2 yards to get the first down. You got 5 yards clear to get the first down. So that was one of those plays. Like, man, what was going
on there?
What was going on in
and
your
of course,
brain?
the next play, when you think he's, he can't even
throws a dart down the
physically
middle of the field,
do a bullet for a touchdown. It was on fourth down. That
Yeah,
was
this
really
is what
something.
he was like last night, guys.
Nothing is over! Nothing!
That's right. It's over, John. It's over. Oh, Rambo there. Okay, we're going to come back to this a little bit later. I want to get D-Mace's take on the broadcast. It was just out of curiosity, and we'd love to hear from all of you on the call or text line, 615-737-1025. Feedback on what you thought on the first Amazon broadcast. Good, bad, whatever. I'm sure there's some things that they want to work on. But in the meantime, when we come back, we'll go up to Buffalo, and the fine play-by-play announcer, John Murphy, is going to join us, and we'll see what's going on up there as we get prepared for Monday night, the Titans and the Bills. Titans, not a great injury report. We'll have more on that during the 11 o'clock hour as we get the check-in there on their media availability, but we'll see how that evolves from now until Monday night. Stay tuned. We're just getting cranking here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Every Monday at 6, it's the Eddie George Show live from 6th and Peabody.
When we hit the turf and clock in, we're locked in, and we're committed to our craft.
Each week, the former Titan and current TSU head coach will be joined by Outkick 360's Jonathan Hutton.
Prop to you and your staff, but also to the kids that have bought into everything you're saying.
And special guests to break down the Tigers' latest game and talk all things football. The Eddie George Show, Mondays at 6 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
All right, it is almost football weekend. Time for me to tell you about my new favorite sports book, Superbook Sports. From Nashville to Knoxville and all around the country, Superbook Sports is your place to wager this football season. Yeah, you know it's me, Chase McCabe. You don't need to be at the game to enjoy football this fall. Download the Superbook Sports app or visit superbook.com and start placing your bets now. Right now, Superbook has lines up for every pro football game for the rest of the season, plus which team will win the title, who's your MVP, and who will surprise in the SEC. Wager on all that and more right now at Superbook Sports. Along with football, Superbook accepts wagers on every other major sport. So bring Vegas to the palm of your hands, and now Superbook will match 100% of your first bet up to $1,000, no matter if the bet wins or loses. Get in the action right now with Superbook Sports. Visit superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem? Call 800-889-9789.
Football is back, and so are the deals at Electronic Express. Save big on everything you need for the big game from brands like Samsung, GE, Sony, Cuisinart, and more. Electronic Express has huge savings in every department. Computers, appliances, 4K TVs, smart home, furniture, mattresses, and more. Save up to 40% with up to 36 months free financing. Shop in-store or online at electronicexpress.com and get free express delivery on most items. Electronic Express. We make football season happen.
Got chronic joint pain but want to avoid steroids and surgery? Take some advice from pro football legend Emmitt Smith. Call QC Kinetics.
Let QC Kinetics help you improve your quality of life with biologic therapies that get your body to repair and restore damaged tissue.
These exciting new regenerative treatments from local medical professionals can help your body heal itself with lasting pain relief.
Trust me, you want to avoid surgery if you can. Check out these biologic treatments to see what your options are.
QC Kinetics. Restorative, regenerative solutions with no downtime, no surgery, no drugs.
I'm talking about joint pain we all can relate to in your knees, your shoulders, your hips, and your lower back. They'll get you feeling good again.
Get relief now.
What are you waiting on? Make the call to QC Kinetics. Tell them Emmitt Smith sent you.
Call QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024. 615-249-4024.
Barlines in the Omni Nashville Hotel.
Hey Nashville, Chef Phillip at Barlines at the Omni Hotel. Come try some of our new menu items like the Nashville Hot Fish and Chips, Nathan's Hot Dog Burn Ends, or the Nashville Chicken Jam Band. Go Preds.
Attending an event downtown? Dine at Barlines in the Omni Nashville Hotel.
Your home for Hit City is 94.9 The Fan.
Your Nashville Sounds continue their 6-game series against Jacksonville at First Horizon Park.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Sounds win.
Pre-game at 6:50.
On your home for Sounds Baseball, 94.9 The Fan and The Fan app.
Hey, Nashville, it's Mike Greenberg, and you're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Chase, Willy, and D-Mase here on 102.5, 106.3 The Game, and the Game Nashville app. You can watch us streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook Live every day. Our video streaming is brought to you by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. You might even see Derek Mason with a little dance move or two there, as we saw.
Yeah.
Willie Donick, former Titans receiver Derek Mason, on the show with you on this Friday, and we head up to Buffalo, and we talk to John Murphy, who is the play-by-play voice for the Buffalo Bills. Times are good up in Buffalo for sure as we count down to Monday night. John, thanks for joining us once again.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me on, guys.
So, John, it's so interesting, for the Bills right now. It's hard to find any weaknesses. I mean, I would have to think the mood up there is really, really good. But if you had to look at any kind of, concern or anything like that, can you even find one at this point?
Yeah, I mean, come on. You don't have to look that far. I mean, they turned it over 4 times in the opener 8 days ago in Los Angeles and still managed to win by 21 points, which is pretty impressive. But they were a little bit sloppy with the football. That's a weakness. I think for as much longer as cornerback Tre'Davious White is out, the Bills are always going to be concerned about their cornerback position. Tre'Davious White, one of the top cornerbacks in the league, is on injured reserve and still has to miss at least 3 more games before he can come back and practice. They had a couple of rookies splitting time at one cornerback spot, and Dane Jackson, the other cornerback, last week. So that'll be a concern. They're not perfect by any means, and they had a really good night to open things up. But, man, the season is so long, and things can happen, and I don't think they're taking anything for granted, including the Tennessee Titans on Monday.
One of the things we were looking for on that first Thursday night was to see how much, if any, they decided to just try to turn and run the ball a little bit more to take some pressure off of John Allen. As it turned out, they did so well in the passing game, and by the end of the night, Josh Allen ends up still being their leading runner. But do you think that there's a basis there for a better running attack to be a little bit more versatile?
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, they've kind of got a running back by committee these days with now he's a bit of a veteran. Singletary is the top running back. They've got a couple of younger guys who will get reps as well. And, there's talk up here that maybe Josh is running the ball too much and that they're putting him at risk. But I think it's a little early for that. He's still 26 years old. He's in the 5th year of his career. There's going to come a point, and it's coming probably fairly soon, where they don't want to expose him to injury as much as they have. But, look, he's their best short yardage running back. Going into the draft this past year in April, there was talk about how the Bills needed a really good short yardage running back, and I'm thinking, well, they have a good short yardage running back, and he happens to be their quarterback too. I mean, he's big and physical, and he still is young, just 26 years old. I think they can use him as a weapon, and he is a weapon when he runs the football as well as when he throws it, and they can continue to use him as a weapon moving forward. I think they got to be a little careful, but I think he'll still be something that teams are going to have to account for.
We'll talk with John Murphy, Bills play-by-play analyst. Now, John, look at it. You just brought up the running game, and I think I saw a stat with Josh Allen that he's been hit the second most of any quarterback because of his ability to run the football. And I know you said they want to minimize him taking those shots, but he's young and he feels, hey, listen, if I'm going to win, then these are the things that I need to do. Why haven't they been able to get that running back situation straightened out? Because they've had some running backs in the past, some big bruising running backs in the past, but it just seems like the last couple of years they've relied heavy on Josh Allen to run.
Yeah, I mean, I think it might be an overstatement to say they've got to get the running back situation straightened out. They have good running backs. Devin Singletary is a good player and had a very productive second half of last season. I think they're going to lean on him. They drafted James Cook in the second round this year, a guy who is a weapon coming out of the backfield as a pass receiver and is getting to be a better player. I mean, I don't think it's a situation that needs a revamp or anything. This is who they're going with. It's not like it's a deficit of talent there at running back. They have 3 pretty good ones. They will sprinkle them all into the game, I'm sure, on Monday night and see. I think they kind of leave themselves open to who's got the hot hand. I mean, that's part of it too. But let's face it, the Bills are a passing team. They have Josh Allen, one of the best passers in the NFL, and they have good receivers. And I think they know that they want to throw the ball first and foremost and run it second. So as long as that's the formula, I think they'll stay with the three guys they have: James Cook, the rookie, Devin Singletary, and Zach Moss. So I don't think it's something that needs fixing or anything. I think they're pretty good with the lineup they have.
Now, we know they have one of the best receivers in the National Football League. To me, he's a top 2 or 3 receiver in Stephon Diggs. But they've always been looking for that second guy. Emmanuel Sanders was really good for them last year. Cole Beasley caught a bunch of passes last year as well. But Gabe Davis came on late last year, and then he showed up again big in their first game. Did everyone in the organization did they notice that this is what this kid will become?
No, I think that I can't say I did. I mean, he's in his third year now. He was a mid-round draft pick out of Central Florida, and exploded onto the scene really with his performance in the Bills' playoff loss at Kansas City last January. Caught 4 touchdowns, and he was virtually unstoppable. Now he benefits a lot from all the attention that opponents focus on Stephon Diggs, but Gabe Davis is a good player in his own right and can make plays. And he's not excessively fast or elusive, but he gets open and he makes plays. He's really good in the red zone with his size. He's 6'2", 210 pounds. No, I didn't. It surprised me going back to late last year, and especially in the playoff game, how much of a factor Gabe Davis was. And Beasley is gone. They have another good group of receivers, though, at kind of the nickel receiver. Isaiah McKenzie is a good player, had a breakout game against the Patriots last December. And Jamison Crowder, an NFL veteran, backs him up. And they've sort of got a job split going on, too, as the nickel receiver, the third receiver on the field for the Bills. So they have a good group of receivers, I think. They have a young guy who was inactive last week and didn't play, but I think before the season's out, the Bills are going to use one of the young guys they have. Khalil Shakir was a 4th-round pick this year. They have a good group, and they're well-coached, and I think they feel like they're pretty well set at receiver.
Yes, you're absolutely right about that. Now, I'm sure a lot of talk there has been to stop the Titans' run game. And are they looking at it more so of, hey, listen, we don't care what many are saying about Derrick Henry. We're going to approach this as if this was the Derrick Henry we saw last year. Is that the approach of the Buffalo Bills in this game?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not privy to their game plan, but I know that based on the conversations I've had with people, including Coach McDermott this morning, they think he's the main threat, and he is. I mean, he's an outlier, as McDermott called him when we talked today. He's kind of a throwback to Jim Brown and all that's been written and said about Derrick Henry. You guys know that. So I think they view him as a dangerous force, a guy who has hurt the Bills in the past. They have a 76-yard touchdown run last year in October in Nashville against the Bills, and they know he's capable of that. I think they're aware of the fact that he didn't do a whole lot against the Giants this past week, and that maybe the Titans are going to come into this game saying we've got to get Derrick Henry, our number one weapon, going, and they might focus on that going into this game.
John, before we let you go, we were looking at the NFL Network, and I saw Von Miller talking to the crew on their show. So far, it looks like a great fit. Just tell me what your first impression of him is, since he's been in Bills camp.
Yeah, he didn't play at all in preseason, and so it was tough to get any impressions, but he had a great game against the Rams 8 days ago. And the one thing about Von Miller, which I didn't know about him or wasn't aware of, but he's become a really good leader. And I think his Super Bowl experience now with a couple of Super Bowl wins with Denver and last year with the Rams have sort of transformed him into a veteran leader. For instance, the Bills have a former first-round pick, Greg Russo, in his second year, and Von Miller has sort of taken him under his wing, sits next to him in meetings and explains the ways of the NFL to him. I didn't realize that Von Miller had that side to him, that he was that much of a leader, that much of a veteran presence who was willing to counsel some of his teammates. So that's a good thing. He's still a great player. I think the Bills have a pretty solid 7 or 8 man defensive line rotation, so they're going to be careful not to overwork Von Miller at age 33. And, they're just getting started with him, and he's just getting started, so it remains to be seen. But I think they'll kind of give him a chance to stay healthy and not get exposed to too many reps and take advantage of his leadership and mentoring skills, which he's already demonstrated are pretty solid.
John, can't wait to watch this game on Monday. Thanks a lot for your insight. As always, have fun, and we'll talk to you down the road.
All right, great. Thanks, guys.
All right, John Murphy, the fine play-by-play voice of the Buffalo Bills, joining us here on the show. When we come back, we'll get back into the Thursday night game and our impressions of the broadcast. In fact, I would love to get a few people on our text line weighing in. What'd you think? And I'll give you my perspective on it. Yes, I did watch the game on it. I did have the Amazon Prime subscription through my wife and daughter, who do a little bit more time on that website than I do. But I got access to the game. I got a couple of thoughts. What did you think? 615-737-1025. Stay tuned. We're coming back with more here on 102.5 The Game.
The Sports Talk doesn't end on Friday. Join Michelle Knezovic every Saturday morning at 9.
I've got my extra large coffee.
As she talks about the big stories of the week.
Predators news, the Tennessee Titans.
And looks ahead to the weekend.
Oh, I'm so excited.
On Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 Code Red meteorologist Greg Bobis. High temperatures today a little warmer than yesterday. Upper 80s to near 90 degrees. A little bit of humidity you'll feel by late in the day, but no rain. Plenty of sunshine, and that continues going into the weekend. No rain until next week.
Brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
At Cordell & Cordell, we focus on representing men in domestic relations cases.
Attorney CPA Joe Cordell.
We recognize that our clients are going through perhaps the toughest time they will ever go through. We understand that everything that's important to them is on the table. Their assets, the role in their children's lives. That's an immense responsibility that our clients entrust us with, and we take that very seriously. We've been trained to do that. We've helped thousands of clients before. And it's our hope that you'll choose to entrust us with what's most important to you.
The attorneys at Cordell & Cordell work to help men maximize their role in their children's lives. Contact the domestic litigation firm of Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Nashville area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 615-457-8700. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Offices in Nashville, Franklin, Murfreesboro, and Gallatin. Cordell & Cordell, 810 Crescent Center Drive, Suite 160, Franklin, Tennessee, 37067.
Attention sports fans, your favorite sportbook, BetUS.com, is back for their 28th year of NFL action with the industry's biggest sign-up bonus of up to 200%. BetUS offers their members the opportunity to cash in on all your favorite leagues, including the NFL, NBA, MLB, and more. They've also got hundreds of new casino games, including the coolest European slots, and their dealers are waiting for you at the table. You need a sportbook with integrity and longevity. You need to know that you will get paid. You need a sportbook that offer everything, including live betting, MMA, golf, horse racing, esports, and all kinds of crazy bets. Call today at 1-800-79-BET-US. That's 1-800-79-BET-US, and they will walk you through setting up an account. Nobody in the industry gets better bonuses than BetUS. Join now, mention 1025, and you can get up to 200% in bonuses on your first deposit. Nobody beats that. Head to BetUS.com and join today. That's BetUS, where the games begin.
College football season is here. Finally, it's me, Caroline Fenton, and you already know that I am pumped up for college football season. And Southeastern Carolines, you know that 312 Pizza Company is my favorite place in town. 312 Pizza Company is a family-owned restaurant located in the heart of Germantown, serving up authentic Chicago-style eats right here in Music City. You can catch every down of the college football season at 312 Pizza Company. From week 1 to the national championship, 312 Pizza Company is your home for college football season.
Robbie Stanley.
They get a lead in that game and just totally close the door.
Joe Rexrode.
If he plays next year, it's disastrous.
Robbie and Rexrode. Mornings from 6 to 10 on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
I'm ready to step this up a notch.
You're listening to Chase, Willy, and D-Mase on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and on the Game Nashville app.
Coming up at 11 o'clock, we'll check in on the Titans and find out what's happening over there. Some press conferences scheduled. We'll hear from some of the coordinators, get the latest on the injury situation. Remember, this is not your normal Friday with the game being on Monday. There's a little more time to prepare, and hopefully they get some guys back on the field. A couple of noticeable absences yesterday, and that's not a good thing. You're listening to Chase, Willy, and D-Mase here from the Hillside Medical Game Studio. On the line with us is Lee DeLeon. He is the Assistant Athletic Director over at Middle Tennessee. Big game, Middle Tennessee, Tennessee State. We're going to talk to Eddie George with our weekly conversation with Derek at 1 o'clock today. Lee, thanks for joining us today.
Well, thank you guys so much for having me. I apologize in advance for not being nearly as cool as Eddie George, but you got what you got. So.
That's okay. That's okay, Lee. But you know what? I can remember when I was a freshman at Vanderbilt way, way back. I didn't know much about the Middle Tennessee, Tennessee State game, but I remember within just a week or two of me being on campus, the two teams used to play at Vanderbilt Stadium. It was a great crowd. We went over to the game. I had not ever seen either team play in my lifetime, and it was fantastic. There used to be great conference rivals here, so this will be a little throwback today or tomorrow.
That's right. You know, I've only been here since November. I got hired as the Deputy Athletic Director by Christmas Sorrow right after Thanksgiving, and I've heard a lot about the old OVC conference days and when Tennessee State and MTSU were in the same league. I heard that it got pretty heated back in the day, so we're excited to renew that rivalry.
So tell people what's going on at Floyd Stadium this weekend.
We got a lot going on. I got a whole list here. I want to make sure that I keep it quick, but we've got a parachute company jumping in with the game ball before kickoff, so make sure you come 15 minutes early for the really cool high-flying game ball presentation.
Wow, hold on. Now, D-Mase, are you a parachuter, or is this – you're not involved in this, are you?
No, but I have, skydived.
You skydove before?
Yes, I have.
Oh, my goodness. So they could have called you.
Yeah, they could have called me. It would have had to be a tandem, Lee, but I could have done it.
Well, Lee, that's pretty good. My flashback as a Mets fan, in the middle of the 86 World Series, a huge game, like Game 7, a guy parachuted right onto the second base bag in the middle of the game. Oh, it was unbelievable. And, of course, they arrested the guy right away. Remember there was the other guy that did it for the Evander Holyfield?
Yes.
Who was it? Riddick Bowe? Was that who it was?
Yeah.
Oh, man. So you guys are taking this is going to be awesome.
Yeah, it is going to be awesome. And then we got a post-game fireworks show, so that'll be fun as always. It's going to be a beautiful night. And then we got a varsity club tailgate for all of our former student athletes before the game, so they're all invited to come back to their old stomping grounds. Then during the game, we've got our beer garden in the south end zone has been upgraded. It's free for anybody to come down there. We got 3 local breweries serving some really unique beers. We got Mayday, we've got Cedar Glade, and we've got Hop Springs. And then we also have on the other side, far away from the beer garden, is our family fun zone for all the young families and kids. I know that's where my 11-year-old and 7-year-old will be with inflatables and face painters and all that fun stuff. And then, of course, we got halftime, man, the Battle of the Bands, the Band of Blue, and then Tennessee State's band is scheduled to come as well. So, we're expecting all kinds of festivities before, during, and after the game, but mainly we just want people to come out. It's 615 night. It's Nashville. It's Murfreesboro. It's Rutherford County. It's Davidson County. We want everybody there. We need to have a great crowd for a really historic night.
It is going to be awesome. So, Lee, for people that want to get tickets, what's the easiest way to get them?
Easiest way is goblueraiders.com. That's our website. Look at the top right corner for a tab that says tickets on it. Plenty of great seats still available, but we are expecting big crowds, so the earlier you get your tickets, the better. I would discourage people from just walking up and buying tickets at the gate because I think the lines will be long. So go online, get your tickets now, download them onto your phone, and you should be able to walk right in.
Perfect. Save a little time that way. Lee, it's a great place to watch the game. Great tradition there. I know it's going to be a lot of fun on Saturday. Thanks a lot for giving us a few details.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me, and let's hope for a great night for all the fans that show up, and let's hope for a Blue Raider win as well. Thanks, guys.
All right, Lee, thanks again. That's Assistant Athletic Director Lee DeLeon from over at Middle Tennessee That's going to be a fun game. You love when the local teams play each other. That's
Exactly,
always a
yeah.
really good thing. So, and I do remember back when they were both in the OVC, that used to be a heck of a rivalry. Kelly Holcomb played in that rivalry for several years there. Boots Donnelly was the coach at Middle Tennessee for a long time. So a lot of roots there with those two teams.
I don't understand, especially in this day and age. And listen, they might start it up, and they might do it in other states where there's a cluster of colleges with good programs, whether it be basketball or football, baseball, women's. It doesn't matter. I don't understand why they don't try to truly build those rivalries, those games up, whether it's TSU versus MTSU, TSU versus Vandy, Vandy versus MTSU. Name the schools that are in this area, within a 20-mile radius. I think that would benefit all schools.
Yeah, it gives you a local buzz.
Exactly. And it, like he said, Lee said, when you have those local schools playing one another, the crowds tend to be a little bit bigger, because I can imagine TSU's going to come there and they're going to try to fill that place up, and then obviously MTSU, they don't want to be outdone, so their fans are going to come. So, like you said, it should be a packed house, but I don't understand why they don't do that more,
Yeah, we love to see it here for sure. We'll talk to Eddie George about that at 1 o'clock. Before we move on to the 11 o'clock hour, we'll start talking some Titans here. What was your first impression of the announcer team, Al Michaels, Kirk Herbstreit, and the whole Amazon streaming thing? It is interesting when everything is originated by a stream. It is a little bit different.
Yeah, it is. One, you better have good internet service because that stream will kind of pause on you.
Yeah.
And depending on how many televisions or what's running in the house, you have kids. Computers on, cell phones on, 2 computers are on, 3 computers are on. So it takes up, the bandwidth of your internet service. So you need to be mindful of that. But you can tell that the announcers Herbstreit and Al Michaels, the legendary Al Michaels, you could tell they're still building chemistry, and they're not quite there yet. I'm sure by the end of the season, heck, by the middle of the season, they will be there because both of them are professionals, and it seems like they like each other. But you could tell that there is still this filling out period. I don't know when they actually brought the two together. I'm sure they had some test runs or whatnot, but you can never, get a true test of how this is going to be until you actually do live games and things come up in live games. But then the halftime show, I thought that was a little bit, it was just like a hodgepodge. They were just throwing, I think Richard Sherman does a great job. I think Fitzpatrick does a great job, as well as, who was the last, the tight end,
Gonzalez.
Yeah, Gonzalez. I think they're really good at what they do, but again, it's the chemistry part.
Yeah, you can't just throw anybody together.
They got to build the chemistry.
Sometimes you do.
You
have
know how that is. Being an announcer,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the same thing with our show, right?
Exactly.
It has to build. Hopefully, you have it, and you can build on it. Sometimes it's apparent after a while that it's just not going to happen between a couple of different people. Where, I think it's a really interesting match, Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit, because they're both individually guys who have tremendous act. Now, Al Michaels, he is one of the. I would say, you could make the argument he's the greatest all-around play-by-play announcer of all time. He's done all the sports at the highest level for such a long time, and he's been great all the time. And at his age, he amazes me that he continues to be very, very sharp, detailed. I don't think his game has slipped at all. Herbstreit's interesting because he's been such a college guy his entire time. So now he's making the adjustment to the pros, and I didn't think there was a big drop-off there. The thing that I noticed, like you said, is just them working together. They don't work off of each other naturally yet, but we'll see how long it takes for them to get that. I do wonder, the NFL people, viewers, media people, critics, all that stuff, who don't really watch a lot of college football, and those people are out there. I know we're in the South. Yeah. We all watch college football on Saturday and then pro. But in the North, there are a lot of places that in NFL markets that are just not into college football. They probably haven't watched Kirk Herbstreit very much, and they're going, what does this guy know about the NFL? I've never heard of this guy, because he's not a former NFL player.
Exactly.
But he is a really solid broadcaster.
Yes, he does a good job. So it will be a lot of people will be paying attention as they move forward on how the chemistry is built. Great. I mean, that's a hard job to do, but I think having Al Michaels there, who's a legend, and then having Kurt, who has been doing this for such a long time. Now he gets to come into another arena, which is the NFL arena. He's great in the college arena, and I'm sure he will do equally as good a job in the pro arena as he does week in and week out in the college arena.
When we come back, we'll turn our attention to the Titans over at the practice complex. They'll have some press conferences. We'll get you a taste of that during this coming hour here. We'll also check in with Joe Dubin and set the table on the high school front tonight. That'll be at about 11:45. And don't forget, Ask D-Mase at 12:30, Eddie George at 1, and then Daily Trivia at 1:30. We're doing it all here on this Friday, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
You watch The Game.
Tannehill, he can run, and he does. Touchdown.
We talk The Game.
I think this is Vrabel giving Tannehill more authority over the team.
We are The Game. Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
This segment of ESPN 102.5 The Game is brought to you by Train Heating and Cooling Systems. Tested, retested, engineered, and re-engineered to keep up with you. We run together. Visit traininfo.com to find your local independent Train dealer. Traininfo.com. It's hard to stop a train.
About 80% of new home buyers don't shop around for the best mortgage loan. That's a mistake. Hey, Willy Donick here for my friends at Loan Pronto. Not all mortgages are created equal. People who use Loan Pronto, on average, save $3,500 in closing costs. They get a better rate, which saves them thousands more every year. Your banker or agent's go-to lenders are fine people, but don't assume they're giving you the best deal. Call Loan Pronto for a quick second opinion or go to loanpronto.com. I'll bet you they can get you a better loan, lower rate, without all those annoying closing costs. And when rates drop, Loan Pronto will refinance you for free. No closing costs. Call to get pre-approved in minutes. They can even hook you up with a high-performing real estate agent if you need one. So call Loan Pronto, 615-499-5780. Or go to loanpronto.com. That's 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. Not all loans apply.
Nashville Generators presents Power Outage Prepping. What are you going to do the next time you lose power? You can rummage through your drawers for batteries, flashlights, or candles, or you can call Nashville Generators, 615-885-1124, 615-885-1124. Nashville Generators will install a whole house Generac generator that'll keep your lights on, pipes flowing, and Wi-Fi working so you don't lose a thing. Don't let your family be displaced in the summer heat or freezing cold winters next time there's a power outage. Call the experts at Nashville Generators and be worry-free the next time bad weather comes to our area. Invest in a reliable system that automatically comes on to keep the pumps pumping, the kitchen cooking, and the family frolicking no matter what Mother Nature throws your way. Nashville Generators is the talk of the town. Go to NashvilleGenerators.com or call 615-885-1124 to start prepping now.
The Parker Store at 1909 Nolensville Road in Nashville is the Parker Factory Authorized Store for your Parker hydraulic, pneumatic, water, and chemical hose needs. They stock metric tubing and hose connections to 42 millimeters in size, and they'll fabricate while you wait up to 6,000 PSI hydraulic hoses in a 2-inch size. Call the Parker Store at 615-248-8245 for all the Parker requirements you have. The Parker Store, 1909 Nolensville Road.
Constitution Week, September 17th through 23rd, commemorates the signing of the Constitution of the United States. Did you know that the Constitution does not give the right to have cases heard by a jury of my peers? The Constitution does not have the words separation of church and state anywhere in it. The Constitution neither prohibits nor encourages that the president and the vice president be from the same party. Study the amendments of the Bill of Rights. Know your Constitution. This announcement was provided by the National Society Daughters of the American Revolution.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne, Nashville's exclusive home for the Nashville Predators. 102.5 and 106.3.
Terang, it's a high fly ball.
We got pass rushers.
Awesome game.
Checkered flag in the air. The Game.
A Cromwell media station.
Now let's see if we can bring them to life, all right?
Bringing you entertainment and informative sports talk during your workday.
Smart, funny, classy, and I like him a lot.
This is Chase, Willy, and D-Mase with Chase McCabe, Willie Donick,
Mason, touchdown, Tennessee,
and former NFL wide receiver Derek Mason on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
This is a new level of geek you got going on here.
Hour number 2, Chase, Willy, and D-Mase here on this Friday. During this hour, we're going to head over to the Titans complex, hear from some of the principals involved. Scheduled to speak today, Derrick Henry, the coordinators. And so we'll give you a taste of that. Big Joe Dubin, Big Joe on the go, will join us at the end of the hour to preview tonight's game blitz from 6 to midnight here on 102.5 The Game. In the meantime, as we set the table for our Titans discussion today, D-Mase, there's something that I was thinking about a lot, and that is what I've been hearing all week. And I'm sure when we hear from the coordinators, if we hear from Shane Bowen at all, or I'm sorry, for Todd Downing, he's going to talk about this because Mike Bravel already hit it. It's no secret. The Bills have an excellent defense without really blitzing a whole lot. So from an offensive standpoint, what are basic principles that you think about on how to be effective against a team that doesn't blitz? Especially because you think about it as a receiver, you know there's going to be those extra guys back there in coverage. So what, as a wide receiver, do you need to be thinking about first and foremost?
Well, I mean, obviously, you know, when you come out, it's what's the defense? Are they in zone or are they in man? Because if they don't have to add that extra person in a box or two, they can disguise that coverage for a very long time. To whereas if you get a team that's always blitzing, you can pretty much pick up, you know, okay, they're in man, they're in zone after a while because those guys typically start to play around that 5, 6, 7 yard area where I'm blitzing or I'm not. So typically you can find you're able to read the coverage quicker. But when they have the ability to get to the passer with 4 guys, possibly 5, then now that ability to read the secondary, the coverage quicker becomes a little bit harder because now they can stay in one coverage for a little bit longer and don't have to bring that guy down in the box to try to either, blitz or stop the run. But, the part that is good for the Titans is even though Buffalo may not blitz, they still have to have that extra guy in the box for Derrick Henry.
Yes.
So it's still sort of like a blitz. Like you still sort of have to it may not be blitzing, but if I bring that extra man or two in the box, now I can see the defense a little bit quicker because they want to try to get, Derrick Henry before he starts going. You got to get Derrick Henry early. You can't let him get 2-3 yards down the field and then all of a sudden, I'm going to try to hit him. It's not going to work that way. You're going to bounce off of him or he's going to run through you or it's going to take 2 or 3 guys to tackle him. So that's what, I'm thinking. But then also, you have to find holes in zones. There are a bunch of holes in zones. You just have to find them. And you can't run through the hole. You have to see the hole, sit in the hole, and you and the quarterback really needs to be on the same page. Everybody needs to read the defense the same way, because if a team doesn't have to blitz, they're just going to sit in a zone, man zone. They're going to disguise it for a very long time. So you and the quarterback need to be on the same page.
How much zone did you face in college in preparation for this? I'm thinking about Kyle Phillips and Traylon Burks. Rookie receivers. We saw Kyle Phillips. He can eat you up one-on-one, right? He's a great route runner. Of course, he missed practice yesterday. But I'm thinking just that art form that you're talking about, being on the same page with your quarterback, finding those holes in the zone. How hard of a skill is that to learn as a young player?
It's not hard if you put in the work. Again, people are not inventing new defenses. I think, after the Baltimore Ravens, that great defense they had in 2000, and maybe the Seattle Seahawks defense when they won the Super Bowl. After that, there hasn't been like these new variants of defenses that are out. When Chicago did, that, what did they call
it? The 40-60?
The 40-60 defense.
Back in the day?
Couldn't nobody figure it out. Nobody could figure it out.
Years.
Exactly. And then people started to figure it out. Okay. Miami figured it out, on the game where if Chicago wins, they go 16-0 and breaks Miami.
That was
record.
the only team that figured it out.
Exactly. That was the only team that figured it out. So you had that defense. And then, past that, you had the Titans' great defenses, and then the Baltimore Ravens' great defenses, and teams started to figure it out. Then you had the Seattle great defense. So eventually, there's only so much you can do as a defensive unit, to whereas, eventually the offenses will figure it out, and you'll go about your business. But the way this defense, I believe, the way this defense plays, it's not hard to and Vrabel talked about this. It's not like they're doing a bunch of exotic things. They're not. They're playing base defense, easy defense to read, but everybody's doing their job. I talked about the Titans. Titans are the same way. They don't play this complex defense, but they've been so good, especially last year. Why? Because guys were disciplined in what they did. Guys didn't get outside of the area they were supposed to be in. Guys were not trying to be heroes. Guys knew what the defense was, played their role, and they were a very good defense. Last week, it didn't happen that way. The second half, first half, they did exactly what they were supposed to do. Second half, you had guys trying to be heroes, guys going outside the framework of the defense. When you have good players and a good defense, the only way you get beat consistently, or the only way you look bad, is if you start to do things outside of what the defense is asking you to do.
It's a great point, and you can play pretty well against the Bills.
Yeah.
And you can be pretty disciplined, and you're still going to give up some stuff because they're so good. So one more receivers question for you. Did you like playing against man or zone better as a receiver? What was your favorite coverage to play against?
I mean, to me, it really didn't matter. Now, in man defense, the holes are going to be a little bit tighter, and you're gonna be asked to make some difficult catches at times. In zone, I think the only thing you worried about a lot of times is getting hit, because yes, there's going to be a hole, but either a yard, 2 yards behind you, 2 yards to either side, or in front of you, there's somebody close, by.
Yeah.
So when you get the ball, that's why they always say turn up in your shadow. When you get the ball, turn up. Don't go side to side, because that's where those guys are coming from, side to side. And they're tight windows, not as tight as man, but they're still tight windows. So, but to me, it didn't matter which coverage I was playing in, playing against. It was, hey, I need to go out and do my job. It might adjust my route depending on zone or man, but I still ultimately got to catch the ball.
Do you think receivers today have it a lot easier? I think the answer is pretty obvious.
Oh, of course
but
they do.
I could hear the wheels turning when you look back on it. in the zone, you had to worry when you catch the ball over the middle, somebody's near you and somebody could light you up. You just can't light the guy up anymore.
No, I mean, listen, the guy didn't have to be near you, to take your head off. They can come in with their helmets down. They were coming in for knockout shots. And I am truly happy that the NFL has changed that, because I'm sure there are plenty guys that could have played a little bit longer had those rules been implemented 10, 15 years ago. 20 years ago. I'm sure there are guys that could have played a lot longer. But that was a different game. They were not as proactive, the NFL, with, protecting the player. It was only when they were taken to court that they decided, okay, we need to do something now. Had they not been taken to court, we would be playing the same type of football now as they played, 15, 20 years ago, where coming across the middle was sort of this manhood gut check for you. Like, either you're going to catch the ball and take this big hit, or you're going to make a business decision and walk away from that catch because you don't want to get hit. They don't have to worry about that now.
It's a much easier business decision.
Exactly.
Because
Absolutely.
they have to. It's much harder to square up a guy in the middle of the field. Yet, you still see these defenses being very effective today, even at least making you work to get the ball up the field. That will be a big challenge for the Titans against the Bills defense. When we come back, we'll continue to break down the Titans and the Bills. We've got other things to throw at D-Mase. Also, we'll get you some of the press conferences. Right now, they're talking special teams. We'll let you know what they're talking about over there right now. Craig Aukerman, who is the special teams coordinator, he's talking about the kick that was missed. We'll tell you what he said when we come back. We'll also look forward to some of the other guys speaking today. We'll play some of it live for you. Stay tuned. We're coming back with more of Chase, Willy, and D-Mase here on 102.5 The Game.
Every Wednesday at 2:45.
Sanders for the touchdown, 48 yards.
Former NFL wide receiver Chris Sanders joins Stillman and Company to give his thoughts on all things Titans and NFL. Fueled by Parman Energy, now hiring fuel drivers. Apply now at ParmanEnergy.com on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Nashville, there is a significant blood supply shortage after multiple traumas over the past Labor Day weekend. Blood Assurance, the area's only nonprofit blood centers, needs your help with your blood donation. When you donate with Blood Assurance, you can save up to 3 lives right here in the Middle Tennessee area. Make your blood donation in honor of 9/11 Day. Blood Assurance is giving out special commemorative 9/11 shirts for all donors. Give blood, give local, save lives with Blood Assurance. Go to bloodassurance.org to find a location today.
Lift it, load it, grade it, grind it, move it, haul it, rig it, dig it, Crane Works, Rental Works, yeah! The big dog's got it.
Crane Works is ready to help lift Nashville. As the Southeast's most trusted name in crane and equipment rental for over 30 years, Crane Works offers certified operators to make sure the job is done right. Rental Works has a diverse fleet of equipment to assist in any project, big or small. From forklifts to carry deck cranes, they have it all. When it's time for your next lift, machinery moving, or rigging project, call Crane Works. Visit craneworks.com.
The 2 most sought-after, most prestigious names in bridal jewelry come together for one epic event next weekend at Genesis Diamonds.
Tacori and Viraggio, the world's premier designers, will be showing off their entire collections. All the latest designs, many showcased for the first time ever, with up to $5,000 in savings.
See the latest from Viraggio, handcrafted on 5th Avenue in New York by true artisans with unmatched attention to detail and the highest quality standards. Viraggio is the only ring that can be customized for every woman's specific desires. Come explore the entire Viraggio collection at Genesis.
If you're engagement ring shopping, this is a once-a-year event you can't miss. Other jewelers aren't even allowed to carry these iconic American-made brands.
Also for this event, Genesis is showcasing an expanded selection of GIA-certified diamonds in all shapes and sizes.
Next weekend, September 23rd through 25th, take advantage of special incentives, zero-interest financing, and as much as $5,000 in savings. Only at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
I love this show.
Never miss a moment of the show.
Okay, all right, okay.
Subscribe to the Chase, Willy, and D-Mase podcast on iTunes, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts. This is Chase, Willy, and D-Mase on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and on the Game Nashville app.
Very interesting choice. A little yacht rock by Nick Keyser. Working the board today on Chase, Willy, and D-Mase. Willie Donick, Derek Mason here with you. Now, just minutes ago over at the Titans complex, their special teams coordinator was talking, Greg Aukerman, and he was breaking down, and I'll give him this. He was very detailed and very forthcoming on all of the things that went into the 47-yard miss that has everybody in a very different mood because it's the difference in winning and losing. It's the last play of the game. But there was something that he said, Derek, that really caught our attention. And he said that the decision to move the ball, because we've talked about it a lot already on the show, and at some point we got to move on, right? He says, look, we're confident the next time we're in this spot that Randy Bullock will make the kick. But he said in regards to the 47-yard kick that it was really not Randy Bullock saying, put me on the right hash. It was their data, their analytics that said the best chance for him making it is under the conditions on the right hash. So this is a great discussion of the value of analytics and when is it right? And it's ironic we say this because the Titans have the reputation of not going by analytics. They're way on the light side of analytics compared to a lot of other teams. For example, the Ravens, your other former team, very heavy into data and analytics. But the Titans kind of went with the data here, and he lost. So if I'm Randy Bullock, and I don't really care where the ball is, wouldn't you rather just have it be anywhere and not be 3 yards further back? I think that's a pretty interesting thing. They sacrificed 3 yards to put the ball on the right hash, and I was under the assumption that it was Bullock saying, put me on the right hash. That's where I want to hit it.
Yeah, it brings up more questions than answers. Yes, you're forthright and say, hey, listen, we based on analytics, the ball should be on the right hash. But Randy Bullock doesn't care which hash it's on. Well, if that is indeed the case, then wouldn't it, just be the smart thing to do is to leave it right where it is? Yes. Or either if you want to put it to the right hash or the middle to the right hash, don't go back 3 yards. Just slide over and down the ball. Get on one knee instead of running backwards 3 yards and over clearly to the right. If Randy Bullock says, if you come up at a press conference and says, my kicker doesn't care where he kicks it from. Okay, if that's the case, damn the analytics. My kicker says it doesn't matter with him, so leave it closer and right where it is. I don't get that part. And I understand some coaches, sometimes you can get too much in the analytic weeds trying to make the right decision instead of just saying, okay, this is what I feel. My kicker it doesn't matter my kicker. We're going to kick the ball right from here. Just block it up.
Well, as we've said, too, remember what happened before. They complete the pass to Phillips, who apparently injured his shoulder on the play because he missed practice. Hopefully it's not that bad. We'll find out more in the coming days. But from the time he makes that catch to the time they break the huddle, they wasted so much time they had to burn their last timeout. So they missed a chance to advance the ball more with the timeout in their pocket So they're going to run any play.
But Willie.
And then still call timeout after that play if there was a guy tackled in bounds.
But that doesn't, to me, that timeout isn't a big problem. Like, that isn't the end of the world. Do the Titans wish they had to use that? Probably not. They wish they still had it in their pocket.
Yes.
But it wasn't like it was, 6 seconds left and they had to burn this time out and they needed a touchdown. No. It was 20-something seconds left. They got it down to 18, had to burn the timeout. There's still 18 seconds
they're
left.
Still okay.
Your first down, you still can call a play that's going to put you out of bounds. And if it's not there, throw the ball away.
There's so many things they could have done. But I do agree with you 100%. I think this is one that we can say, and I am a huge proponent of analytics, but this is an example of, I think, overthinking and over-dataing rather than just keeping it simple and saying with 18 seconds, rather than sacrifice 3 yards, go backwards, then spike it just to put the ball on the right hash. I mean, I think running any number of plays or just running the kicker out right there with 18 seconds and kicking it in the middle. 44 is easier than 47. I would think the analytics would back that up. 44 straight away as opposed to 47 on the hash. This is all hindsight. But they missed a chance to make a kick from 42 or 40 or just, they could have run a play, still had plenty of time with 18 seconds, right? You could run it, slide inbounds with no timeouts, still run up and spike it and have plenty of time.
Exactly. Every coordinator on their play sheet, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, special teams coordinator, and the head coach, if he wants to hold a sheet too, should have the letters KISS in big, bold letters written at the top of their play pad or their play sheet, which means keep it simple, silly. Sometimes you just got to keep it simple. Sometimes you got to say, darn the analytics. We're at 41 yards. We don't need to go back to 43, 47, 44. We don't need that. Let's stay at 41 yards. And our kicker, who's a professional kicker, is getting paid a lot of money. We expect you to make that kick. We don't say, oh, the quarterback needs the ball on the right hash, so let's run the ball over here, or let's sneak the ball over here so his next pass can be from the right hash. No, you expect your quarterback to be able to make every throw from any hash. So why not the kicker? So you pay him enough money. It's not like it was a 55 or 60-yard kick.
Right. So the basic thing is that we learned is that they sacrificed the net result. They sacrificed 3 yards with Tannehill moving the ball to the right hash. They moved back 3 yards so that they could put the ball on the right hash, not because it was Bullock telling them that that's where I want it. It's what the data told them gave them the best chance to make the kick under the conditions. Very interesting stuff. When we come back, we're going to hear from Todd Downing, the offensive coordinator for the Tennessee Titans. He's a guy under the microscope this week, no question about it. Stay tuned. You're listening to Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 102.5 The Game, 106.3, and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, Preds fans.
Running across to make the save is Sarah.
You can now hear Nashville's best sports talk.
The back-hander, he scores!
And every Predators game on 106.3 FM.
Oh, that was a thing of beauty.
From downtown Nashville to Rutherford and Williamson counties.
Duchesne with the overtime winner.
Catch all the action on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
Winning this award is truly like winning the Super Bowl of car dealer awards for Mercedes-Benz.
Edwin Vickery, General Manager of Mercedes-Benz of Music City.
Culture eats strategy for lunch. You have to hit on all cylinders to win this award. You can strategize all you want. You got to still have the right tools, and our tools are our people.
Live the dream with 3-time Mercedes-Benz Best of the Best Award winner, Mercedes-Benz of Music City. Go to mbofmc.com.
A new fair is hatching in Nashville. Come on out and experience 10 days of dinner shows, barnyard animals, culture arts, sporting events, and 4 nights of Nashfest with themed music. We have something for everyone now through September 18th. Skip the line and buy online at nashfair.fun. A regional fair with an urban flair. The Nashville Fair. It's a hatchin' good time.
The Nashville Sheriff is hiring correctional officers. Earn $52,500 after paid training and probation. Positions are available immediately. You must be 21 and over with a high school diploma or GED. Come, join our family. That's $52,500 with great benefits. Apply now at sheriff.nashville.gov/apply or call 615-862-8170. Earn $52,500. Stop searching. Apply now. The Nashville Sheriff.
Hey, this is Pete Weber. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk. ESPN 102.5 The Game.
All right, let's head over to the Titans facility and listen to offensive coordinator Todd Downing.
We started faster. That was a point of emphasis. And we were able to, get a touchdown on the opening drive by getting the ball to a couple of different guys, including Traylon and some other people. So there's certainly an element of that to try to get guys going. You want to balance that without trying to force anything, and that's always, part of the ebb and flow of the game. But, yeah, I think there's some validity to trying to get guys going early.
Todd, generally speaking, when you guys have an offensive philosophy that everyone knows and that won't change.
Listen to Todd Downing. Lost the feed there for a second. Hopefully we can get that back for you in a second. Boy, really riveting. We got about 2 sentences, and then we lost the feed. This is life.
Yeah, that's the way it is. You got to improvise.
He did say, among other things, while we try to get that back up for you, he said that the third and one run to Chikakonkwo was, quote, a bad call. I take full responsibility for that call. So, D-Mase, you were defending. Hold that thought because we'll come back to it. But here's more from Todd Downing.
Let's see. So. Well, thank you for asking, Jim. I thought we protected well. I thought we did a nice job of setting a firm pocket for Ryan inside. He was able to step up in the pocket, and get through a couple of progressions. We ended up with the one statistical sack that was on a keeper that Ryan scrambled, but that was the only blemish on otherwise pretty good protection day.
Yeah, how encouraged were you by Ryan Tannehill in that season opener?
Yeah, I thought he saw the game well. We were talking on the sideline, and he was diagnosing defense as well, and particularly for a defensive scheme like that and the unknowns of the opener, he was seeing things and indicators well, and so that process was good. Again, we just need to convert more on third down so we can keep those drives alive and give more opportunities for those first down play passes or, the counter punches that we talked about, and that's obviously the goal this week.
Big as a challenge from a protection standpoint against Buffalo, based on what you saw from them last week.
Yeah, that's the fun of the NFL, right? Every week's a different challenge. Last week it was a little bit more scheme and figuring out how you're going to block things up, and this week it's about matchups and knowing our opponent. So we've got to dive into understanding who we're blocking, right, and having a protection plan for some of those edge rushers, and then make sure we're doing everything we can to help those guys in one-on-one situations.
You talked about getting guys going and all. Woods and Westbrook each caught a ball early and then kind of disappeared from the pass game, and then Hooper was targeted really late in the game. What do you have to do to kind of spread things around, or are you just trying to play the hot hand and whoever's open there?
Yeah, I think that there's a little bit of misnomer to the number of targets. Just because they weren't targeted early doesn't mean they weren't first in the progression early. And so there were a couple of plays where we might have had those guys highlighted at different points in the game. And then a couple of those penalties, on who he was the primary target in the 2-minute drive, with those holding calls where if he wasn't held, he probably gets a target. So, there's a little bit of that to it as well. But I do think there's a balance between trying to get everybody going and spreading it out and, sticking with what's working, so to speak. And obviously we got Dontrell going a little bit in the red zone and situationally, which may have taken away a couple of targets from those other guys.
Getting the defensive holdings and that sort of. Is there a knack or a trick for guys to be able to get more of those calls, whether it's a defensive hold or a pass interference call? Do some guys have that ability to do that more than others?
I think so, yeah. It's just contact, strength through contact and play speed. Hoop does a great job of setting up defenders and getting on an edge, and sometimes when they hook him or grab him, he's able to show that he's being restricted, and that kind of movement, lets the official know that there's been some grabbing there. So I do think there's some savviness to that and some football IQ of understanding, hey, I got a guy on a certain leverage, let's take advantage of it and put him in a tough spot.
On the predictability front, last year, second down, if you got sacked or threw incomplete on first down, you ran 64% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a we're going to run no matter what and we're going to make you stop us thing, or is that a stubbornness where you're not using everything that's available to you?
Yeah, maybe a little bit of both. Certainly trying to get ourselves, into a little bit better third down situation on those second and longs. And I have a lot of confidence in our run game to be able to be efficient in those situations. I wouldn't necessarily categorize 64-36 as like, stubbornness and just flat out tilting the scales. It's leaning one way, but you're a couple runs, couple passes here and there from balancing that out. So, hopefully I'm not too predictable this season.
A couple of runs from balancing, a couple passes from balancing it out, but you choose not to take those couple passes.
Yeah, and again, that can.
That's Todd Downing, offensive coordinator for the Titans. Lost the feed again there,
Mm-hmm.
but there's plenty for us to chew on, Derek, as we hear him talk about that. So you had a couple of interesting statements that I saw your rabbit ears went up, and mine did as well. First of all, if you missed it a minute ago, and we didn't get a chance to play that live for you, but he did say that he felt like it was on him. He took full responsibility for the ill-fated 3rd and 1, one of several 3rd and shorts that they missed, particularly in the second half. The Chigakonkwo tight end around that seemed like it was doomed from the start. He said, that's on me, bad call. I'll take full responsibility. You still have your doubt. You still disagree.
Yeah, I still disagree. My thing is, you got to show me how that was a bad call and then show me the play and the way it's supposed to be designed and blocked, okay? Because what I'm seeing as a former player and as a guy that has been in that position where I didn't get my block, and because I didn't get my block, the play didn't get the yardage it should have gotten. That wasn't on the offensive coordinator. It was on the player. So not only do you say it was a bad call, but show me why it was a bad call. Tell us why it was a bad call on 3rd and 1. Because what I'm looking at and what if you are looking at this from a, if you're not being biased and you're just looking at it objectively, you see a play ran and you see two guys that don't do their job. Taylor Lewan and the receiver out wide. They're not blocking anyone. So if they're not blocking anyone, why is that a bad play? If we can say that on several plays where guys were getting beat and the play didn't work the way it was supposed to work. Is that Downing's fault? Well, now I don't know if it's his fault or not, because I know he doesn't want to call out the player. And he's sort of, falling on a sword. But, man, you can't keep doing this. Grow a backbone. You can't keep doing this, because after a while, it's going to cost you your job when you're falling on a sword every time when guys are not doing the job they're supposed to do.
Okay, so let's take that a little bit further. That was something that, as you were listening to his answers of the various questions, and I commend – again, him
I understand, and I understand why he did it. I do understand that.
He's trying to be open and honest, but you're saying his mentality tells you something about him as a coordinator. Your read does not I guess, have you brimming with confidence.
You got to be confident in the call that you make. When you listen to Vrabel, if they would ask Vrabel that same question, I believe they did ask him. He didn't say that was a bad play, and he had watched the film. He just said, hey, listen, everybody needs to do their job on every play, offensively or defensively. And I told you guys earlier in the week, if one guy on defense doesn't do their assignment, a lot of times it can equal into a sack, a turnover, something good. But if one guy doesn't do their job on offense, it can turn into a quarterback sack, a quarterback sack fumble. It could turn into loss of yards, and that is what happened, I believe, on that particular play. I have not heard Vrabel say something like that. He's discussed it, and he probably skirted around it, but he hasn't blatantly came out and said, well, maybe that's a play we shouldn't have run out. No.
It is interesting. You know, I did not see any or hear while we had the feed any questions regarding just specific third and shorts, but you can tell he's lost some sleep over that factor. Well, one of the things he talked about, too, was sticking with what's working as opposed to trying to get other people involved that have not been involved in the game plan. I just try to look at that and say, that's tough for any coordinator. That's got to be a challenge every week for every coordinator. Getting my top players the ball, and scheme-wise, here's what I see the defense giving us. And we're going. He used the example of it was working to Dontrell Hilliard. So maybe that fact took away from a couple of targets that might otherwise have gone to Hooper or Woods, all the people that everybody's up in arms about. Why did these guys not get the ball thrown to them? Well, some of it does have to. You have to give the guy some slack on what is the defense giving you, right?
Yeah, I mean, there could be several plays in a game plan or on a specific drive that is targeted for, say, Austin Hooper or targeted for, Traylon Burks or Robert Woods. But then the defense sort of dictates who you're going to throw it to. They may take away that first read or that second read, and it has you going to that third or fourth read or even, taking off and run. So I do understand, that's the truth when he said, listen, the play probably started out us wanting to go to Austin Hooper or Traylon Burks, but because of the defense, we were not allowed to go to those guys. We had to go to our second and third guy in the progression. So I understand that part. But I'm not trying to get everybody going. When you say everybody, do you mean like everybody other than your top 2 or 3 playmakers? Because I understand, yes, there are other guys on the team, but if we want to win, there are 3 guys that I'm trying to get involved in the game, heavy and quickly and heavy, every game. Obviously, Derrick Henry is the one guy that you need to get going right away. You need to get him involved right away, and they do that. But besides that, Austin Hooper, Traylon Burks, and Robert Woods need to be 3 guys that it's a importance to get those guys involved in the game somehow, some way, early and often. Because if you don't, those guys tend to get lost. The further the game goes along, those guys tend to get lost in the offense. So you need to find a way, Downing as a coordinator, find a way to get your playmakers the ball, because if you don't, you're going to continue to lose. You're going to continue to make it tough for the defense.
And remember, the context here is the passing game as a whole graded out way better than the running game. You could argue that looking at the grades, the efficiency, where they lost the game was the poor running game. I mean, they just really didn't run the ball very well. So
but that was against a so-so Giants defense. Giants defense isn't bad, but it isn't really good either. That's I wouldn't be surprised if they finish below the middle of the pack in defense.
Absolutely.
Now you're going against a Buffalo Bill team whose defense is top-notch. They're a top 3 defense in the National Football League. You better find a way to get your playmakers involved.
So there you have it. That's some stuff from Todd Downing today. During the 12 o'clock hour, we'll switch to the other side of the ball. We'll hear from Shane Bowen, what he has to say about the challenge ahead for the Bills and some of his thoughts looking back on Week 1. When we come back, we'll set the tone for tonight on the gridiron on the high school side. Joe Dublin will join us, and we'll talk Game Blitz. Stay tuned. You're listening to Chase, Willy, and D-Mase here on 102.5 The Game.
High high school football is here. Join Big Joe Dubin every Friday night at 6 for the Apple Collision Center's Game Blitz, presented by National Playmakers Academy.
Just a small sample of these great coaches in our area.
We'll go around the mid-state for scores and reports on all the big games.
If I'm a high school coach, I want the challenge.
The Game Blitz is on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 Code Red meteorologist Greg Bobis. High temperatures today a little warmer than yesterday. Upper 80s to near 90 degrees. A little bit of humidity you'll feel by late in the day, but no rain. Plenty of sunshine, and that continues going into the weekend. No rain until next week.
Brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Men, are you asking yourself questions like, why am I gaining fat? Why is my energy or sex drive down and maybe haven't been getting the exercise you need? If you want to get back to the man you used to be but just don't have that youthful energy, that edge you once had, you very well might have low testosterone. Low T causes all kinds of issues, from a reduced libido, lower drive, and bad sleep patterns to problems with muscle gain, bone density, and more. It may even contribute to erectile dysfunction, and if this sounds like you, it's probably time to get treated for your low T. At the Tennessee Men's Clinic, we've treated thousands of men for low T. We've seen them put on muscle, add to their energy, improve their sex lives, get better sleep, and just feel better. Plus, if you're like most men, you'll see results in only a few weeks. So make an appointment today and experience how testosterone therapy can truly change your life. Your initial appointment is only $99 with results in minutes. Call today, 615-208-9090, or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Visit our website to learn more, including side effects, treatments, extra results vary.
Kenny Mayne here with this declaration for new Caesar Sportsbook app users from Caesar. Your first bet's on us, is what Caesar told me to say. That means if you don't win, you get up to $1,250 back as a free bet. Download the Caesar Sportsbook app and sign up with the code RADIOFULL.
Open to new users in Tennessee who are 21 or older. Qualifying bet loses. Bet amount returned as a credit. Must use within 14 days. See Caesar.com/promos for full terms. Gambling problem? Call or text the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
Now's the time to make a message known. All working-class Tennesseans vote no on Amendment 1 this voting season. Right to work does not belong in the state constitution. Hardworking families deserve to have their needs addressed in today's economy. Visit TennesseeWorkerAlliance.org. Paid for by the Nashville Building Trades.
Hey, summer's over, but is that joint pain still there? Well, it's time to do something. Willy Donick here, and I want to tell you about QC Kinetics. You've put it off long enough. It's time to get real lasting relief from chronic pain in your knees, your back, your shoulder, and hips. QC Kinetics can get you moving again with cutting-edge regenerative treatments. No drugs, no downtime, no surgery. Regenerative medicine uses highly concentrated healing properties from your own body, and it restores and repairs the damaged joint tissue. Plus, QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in this exciting breakthrough natural approach to eliminating joint pain. Lots of people here have done this, and they're living life to the fullest, pain-free. So don't assume that the old ways of dealing with joint pain are the only ways. Stop putting it off. Call for a free consultation. 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024 for QC Kinetics. Once again, 615-249-4024.
In 1972, a Nashville family business story began when Bill and Beverly Finley founded Volunteer Hose and Gasket. 3 generations have grown the business into the local industry leader, supplying just about anything to anybody, from the largest of contractors to your neighbor that mows his own yard. Over 1 million items in stock: belts, belting accessories, gaskets, gauges, hose fittings, hydraulics, industrial hoses, lubricants, sealing products, tubing, fire protection, and more. All at volunteerhose.net. If Volunteer Hose and Gasket doesn't have it, then you probably don't need it. Call them at 615-242-0461.
We gather together in communities across the nation to remember and honor, to celebrate and support, to light the night. We are LLS, and when we walk, cancer runs. Find your local event at lightthenight.org.
Jared Stillman.
This is a team that the entire city is losing their minds over.
Caroline Fenton.
It's one of the youngest teams in the league. They don't have a single player over the age of 30.
Stillman and Company. Afternoons from 2 to 6.
Presented by TriStar Moving.
On Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app. I'm ready to step this up a notch. You're listening to Chase, Willy, and D-Mase on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and on the Game Nashville app.
Tune in to the college football game of the week on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. Tomorrow, it'll be Georgia and South Carolina at 11 a.m. That's our college football game of the week, brought to you by Twin Peaks, home of the 29-degree drafts and wall-to-wall sports, along with Superbook Sports, voted #1 sportsbook in Vegas. Download their app today. That's Superbook Sports. College football game of the week. Georgia and South Carolina. The colleges going wild tomorrow. High schools ready to get it going tonight. And that's why you hear the Magnum PI. It is Big Joe. Joe Dubin is on the line with us. He is poised, along with Elijah Campbell, for another edition of the Game Blitz tonight. Looking forward to that action. Joe, how's it going?
It's going good, man. Another Friday. It's hard to believe. We are in week 5, so the high school football season is halfway done tonight. I know they get an open week. They got the 11 weeks to play 10. I get all that. But tonight is the 5th week. So a lot of teams are at the halfway point of the season. It's so crazy that we're already there. And we're already seeing the separation. Good teams and bad teams are happening. But I got to tell you guys, there's one game tonight on the schedule that if you're looking for a high school game to go see. White County travels to Mount Juliet. White County's got a running back named Malachi Dowell. He has rushed for, in 4 games, nearly 1,300 yards and 19 touchdowns.
Wow.
He's putting up, if you remember, Jalen Hurd numbers.
Yep.
I mean, this young man is fantastic. It's a huge region game tonight, so whoever wins this game gets the upper leg. Mount Juliet came out of the gate. They lost to Gallatin to start the season. This is at Mount Juliet tonight. It's going to be a packed house. White County brings a lot of people. This is why we love Friday night football, because of games like this. White County has not been that good throughout the years, but they roll in tonight 4-0 with a running back who's one of the best in the state, and it should be an epic game. I'm so looking forward to that game tonight.
So if you're out towards Wilson County, that is one to circle for sure. All right, Joe, I'm going to ask you a loaded question here. As you mentioned, we're getting close to the halfway point here. Some people are at that point. Who is the best high school football team in our listening area?
Well, that's a good question, and there are several. Oakland, obviously, the defending champions. And see, the thing is, guys, I don't do year to year. I mean, they were good last year, they won the state championship, but that's last year. So look at this year. You know, they don't rebuild, they reload. They're a fantastic football team. Then you got Lipscomb Academy, who's, you know, Trent Dilfer, the boys are going out of state, knocking off teams and playing great. They play FRA tonight. That should be a good test for Lipscomb and Dilfer and those guys. Those are 2 of the best teams that are standing out right now that could compete with. I think Oakland could compete with any team in the country. I mean, they're fast, they're quick, they're big, they're powerful, and they have a great team. They got a big game tonight versus Siegel down in Rutherford County. Siegel's having a great year. They're off to a great start. But those 2 teams right now are kind of the cream of the crop of what's happening. And there's a bunch of the teams that are really good. But remember, kind of like in the NFL, you just got to win your region. If you're one of the top 4 teams in your region, you get in the playoffs. You know, the Titans right now are in the worst division in football, AFC South. You just got to win that division. You don't have to go 15-2. You win the division, you get in the playoffs. That's the same thing with high school football in the region. You just got to be one of the best 4 teams in your region to get in the playoffs. Anything can happen. But right now, Oakland, Lipscomb Academy, there's nobody close to those 2 teams.
Now you got Innsworth traveling to Memphis University. Both of those teams are 3-1.
Yeah, that's a good battle for Innsworth to go on the road. That's the thing with these schools in the Division II level is they've got to travel across the state to play these games. So, you know, they got to travel 3.5 hours, taking an MUS team that's really good. You know, Brentwood Academy's got to play some team called St. Benedict of Auburndale. I'm not sure what that school is, but you got to go on the road. You got to produce. You got to win. So there's a long road trips for these guys in high school football. So that's a good game tonight for Innsworth. That's a game. And I love Rock Batten at Innsworth. What a great coach. What a great man. They go down there and knock off at MUS. That's a good win for the program to set up for later in the season. They take on the Brentwood Academies and other teams in that tough division. So I'm just not a fan, guys, of these schools having to travel so far to play games. But that's what it is right now. We had a game last week. Fayetteville had to travel up to Upperman. That's like 3 days by yak. I mean, that takes so long to get up there. It's just, I hate it for these kids. 'Cause you don't
There's
get home till
just there's
2 or
just
3
not
o'clock
that
in the
many
morning.
yaks available too. It's hard to find yaks this time of the year. Now you do want yards after the catch, yak. You know that's a good kind of yak. But actual yaks,
But anyway,
it's kind of hard to
so
find those.
Dinsworth goes down there, can knock off MUS. That puts him 2-0 in the region. And again, remember, it's got to be in the top teams in the region to get in. That's a big win for them. But MUS is only giving up 29 points in 4 games. So that's going to be a battle tonight for Dinsworth down there.
How about the Brentwood and Ravenwood? This has always been a good matchup.
Ooh, yes, that is. You know what? That is another game of why we like high school football, because this is far more than just two teams playing each other that are just close apart. You know, we got teams that play each other that are just a couple miles apart all the time. But this game, ever since Ravenwood came on the scene, I think back in 2004 or 2003, whatever it was, their goal was to go out Brentwood, and they've been back and forth. Ravenwood's won a couple of state titles. Brentwood's won one since then. So this is always good. So it's the bragging. I mean, these kids all grew up together. I mean, they hang out together. They play youth sports together. They still run around the same circles. So that's a good game tonight. Two good coaches. Ravenwood's got a great quarterback in Chris Parsons, who's headed to Mississippi State to play. So it'll be a lot of fun tonight with those two teams. And Brentwood's got a kicker. His name's Isaac Hayes. He kicked
wait a minute.
The Isaac Hayes?
Isaac Hayes.
Yeah, right? So you have to love this guy. He kicked a 50-yarder against Blackman in week 1 that I promise you would have been good from 60. I mean, the guy nailed this kick. So you'll remember the kicker from Brentwood, Isaac Hayes, who's got a great leg tonight. So it'll be a good game for both. Again, a region game. Both teams are unbeaten in the region. The winner gets the leg up in Region 7 in Class 6A.
But now, of course, the Shaft theme is going through my mind as soon as he says Isaac Hayes. Another one that is always a great traditional rivalry, Joe, is NBA Father Ryan. That's another one where you're just going to love the atmosphere if you go over there.
Well, not only that, you know, NBA, we talk about Marcel Reed and how great he is, head to Ole Miss to play, and Marty Ruberard, the head coach at NBA, fantastic coach. But Ryan, you know, they played East Nashville in week 1. They got beat in the first half really bad, but they rallied back and got beat 32-20. But here's what happened. Ryan goes on the road last week, and they beat Cane Ridge pretty solidly. Cane Ridge is an outstanding football team. So Ryan now has got all this confidence and feeling good about this. And this is another football game that inside the region, you know, if NBA can get this game tonight, they've got a nice leg up on them. But at the same time, Ryan knows good and well they can make this season if they could go ahead and knock them off. Ryan's 0-1 in the region. NBA's 1-0. Ryan lost to Pope John Paul a few weeks ago. You know, that rain on Friday night with delayed games for hours. And again, that's another unfair to these kids. You postpone a game for 3 hours. You come back out and play at 11 o'clock at night and try to get the game in. But, again, this is a game for Ryan. If they can knock off NBA, they're back in the running in Division II in the East Middle region right there. So that's a huge game. Be a fun game, exciting game tonight. Another game you'll check out if you're going around Middle Tennessee.
Okay, so remember, 6 to midnight tonight on the Game Blitz. And just for those who have listened, they already know this. But if you haven't, you're going to get scores on all of the games. You're going to get the some of the big games of teams that maybe have a chance to win a state championship, but also coverage of all of them. The rural games out in the country in our listening area, the metro games. You guys do it all. So tell me a little bit more. Game Blitz tonight, of course, starting at 6 o'clock, Joe.
Yeah, it's a good point, Will. I mean, it's not just like what's happening in Nashville. I mean, like our first game tonight is Richland Cascade. I can't tell you where Cascade is. I just know it's in Middle Tennessee.
That's one I have not been to Cascade. I have heard of Cascade, but that's one I have not been to. I've been to a lot of schools, but not that one.
Yeah, and they deserve the love too. I mean, all these, you know, Elijah and I have adopted Glencliff on the show.
Oh yes, the Colts, baby.
They haven't won a game since 2018. I mean, they're getting, but they're fighting. I mean, they were a few games. Cheatham County, they were 6-0 in the fourth quarter. They lost 19-0 last. And we were rooting these teams on. I mean, these kids deserve our love and deserve to be honored, deserve to be lifted up on Friday nights. I told everybody, you got all week for the NFL, you got all week for college. Well, just carve out 4 to 5 hours on a Friday night for these high school football kids. And a game like Glencliff, you know, when they shut the program down 3 years ago, they rallied back, and they got enough kids to come out now. That's why we love this game. And so we lift this Glencliff football team up. Hope they have a good game tonight and win the game and get off that long losing streak that they got. That's the beauty of this show. It's not our show, guys. It's the high school football coaches show and these players and everybody in Middle Tennessee, just to carve out a little love for them on a Friday night. And we hit all the schools in Middle Tennessee, all of them. We show all of them the love. So thanks for bringing that up, Willie.
All right, Joe, go get them tonight.
rest up. You and Elijah are going to knock them dead. And thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you again next Friday.
All right, thanks, boys. Appreciate you.
Yep.
All right, so join Big Joe and Elijah Campbell tonight for the Apple Collision Center's Game Blitz, presented by National Playmakers Academy from 6 to midnight. They'll preview the big games, take you through the entire night of high school football around the Mid-State. Apple Collision Center's Game Blitz, presented by National Playmakers Academy on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. We'll seesaw back to the Titans when we come back. We'll hear from Shane Bowen, the defensive coordinator. We'll also give you some more tidbits from what's happening over at the Titans complex today. Stay tuned. Hour number 3 is coming up.
You watch the game.
39, pocket trembling, down he goes. Hit on the play by Landry.
We talk the game.
Harold Landry? Boy, you sure should pay him, right?
We are the game. Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself.
Attorney CPA Joe Cordell.
An effective defense often hinges on sophisticated strategies relating to income tax projections, business valuations, spousal support claims. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer's skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills.
Contact the domestic litigation firm of Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Nashville area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 615-457-8700. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Offices in Nashville, Franklin, Murfreesboro, and Gallatin. Cordell & Cordell, 810 Crescent Center Drive, Suite 160, Franklin, Tennessee, 37067. Bar Lines in the Omni Nashville Hotel.
Hey Nashville, it's Chef Phillip at Bar Lines at the Omni Hotel. Come try our new hot dog burn ends. Nathan's all beef hot dogs, smoked over pecan wood, tossed in honey sriracha barbecue, topped with a cool crema, crisp spring onions. One of my favorites.
Attending an event downtown? Dine at Bar Lines in the Omni Nashville Hotel.
Hey football fans, Patrick Mahomes here, and I'm here to tell you that with NFL Sunday Ticket only on DirecTV, you can watch your favorite team no matter where you live. Because NFL Sunday Ticket gives you every live out-of-market game every Sunday afternoon. So switch to DirecTV and learn how to get the 2022 NFL Sunday Ticket season included at no extra cost. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
With choice package and above, 24-month agreement required. Call for details.
Hi, I'm Trisha Yearwood. The Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum offers family and individual memberships, including unlimited admission, access to exclusive events, and more. Becoming a museum member supports our mission and provides a year of free access to the museum's world-class offerings, here, locally, minutes from your home. Visit countrymusichалloffame.org/membership. Join today. Honor thy music.
BetUS.com is back for our 29th year of football action. With the industry's biggest sign-up bonus of up to 200%, BetUS offers our members the chance to cash in on all your favorite sports. Sign up at BetUS.com or call 1-800-79-BET-US, where the game begins.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne. Broadcasting on Alexa.
I appreciate that.
And other smart speakers. 102.5 and 106.3.
Terang, it's a high fly ball.
We got pass rushers.
Awesome game. Checkered flag in the air.
The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Now let's see if we can bring them to life, all right?
Bringing you entertainment and informative sports talk during your workday.
Smart, funny, classy, and I like him a lot.
This is Chase, Willy, and D-Mase with Chase McCabe, Willy Donick,
Mason, touchdown, Tennessee,
and former NFL wide receiver Derek Mason on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
This is a new level of geek you got going on here.
We have reached the midway point of our Friday show. Chase, Willy, and D-Mase here on 102.5 The Game. Willy Donick, Derek Mason here with you. Coming up at 12:30, it's Ask D-Mase. So get your questions ready on our phone text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Hit us up there and ask questions to D-Mase about life, about football, about history. And then, of course, at 1 o'clock, we'll talk with Eddie George from Tennessee State. They're playing Middle Tennessee this Saturday. That's tomorrow. That's going to be a lot of fun. We already checked in over at Floyd Stadium on some of the festivities they have going on, so it'll be a fun atmosphere there with Eddie and his Tigers heading out to Murfreesboro. We'll also talk Titans with Eddie as well, so looking forward to that at 1 o'clock. In the meantime, let's give you a taste of what's happening over at the Titans complex today. The coordinators are speaking. We had some interesting comments from Todd Downing and Craig Aukerman, the special teams coach. Derrick Henry also took to the podium. But here is defensive coordinator Shane Bowen.
Shane, with the yards you guys gave up in the run game last week, are those correctable things when you watch them on film?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it was a combination, man. I think a couple tough calls, put the guys in some tough situations on a couple of those things. I think the tackling showed up a little bit. You face a elite back. I mean, you're going to have some, but they were able to break some and get some significant yardage on them. And then a few fit things where an elite back finds it, right? Like if you don't fit up against the ones that are elite, they make you pay for it. So, I mean, combination of things, you got to be better. We got to do a better job setting the edge, building a wall, and swarming. But, I mean, there was a few different things that factored into that.
Was Zach aggressive enough in this game?
Yeah, I felt like he was going. There were some good clips of him knocking guys around. And they were doing some unique things, bringing the tight end up on him pretty early in the down, in the play. And again, a lot with all these guys, they got a decision to make. At some point in the block, it's either I can go under, I can go over, I can go through. And a lot of that depends on where the ball's at, right? So, I mean, there's a time and place for making those decisions, and they got to have good instincts and good feel for when they can. But, I mean, we'll see. I think all of us across the board knows it has to be better.
Challenge, I guess, going up as a quarterback like Buffalo's got with the strong arm and also a willingness to run it.
Yeah, he's a special player. Like we got a big challenge ahead of us. He makes that thing go up there. Like he can make the throws on schedule, all the throws wherever it is. He can scramble around and buy time and make all the throws. He can scramble around and run and stiff arm 250-pound dudes to the ground. He's a unique player with a special skill set with a lot of things that you have to be able to defend with him.
The tackling problems have kind of been well documented with starters playing little to none in the preseason and obviously not taking guys to the ground in practice and all. Is some of that rust, and do you have to maybe rethink your approach to the preseason in terms of getting guys on the field to tackle?
I think I mean, we try to rep it. A lot of the fundamentals of tackling, I think you can get across without contact. Like we're out here throughout the season, it's the same thing. Like, I mean, you talk about tackling, and there might be maybe 5 to 6 tackles per guy per game on average, you would say. But I think the technique and the fundamentals of being able to stay on my feet, not get too wide with my base, where I can step to contact, I'm not hopping, and I'm closing the distance. All those things that really enable you to be a good tackler have nothing to do with the end result of the contact, if that makes sense. Like there's a lot of little things leading up to the junction point where I'm wrapping and collisioning that ultimately lead to whether you make or miss. So, I mean, does it factor? Maybe a little bit. I'm not going to sit here and say yes or no either way, but I do think there's a lot of things we can do without the contact that can improve our tackling.
With Farley only playing 15 snaps against the Giants, like how has he responded? I mean, obviously, he wants to play more, but how has he responded to that? Yeah,
he's been good. He's competitive. All these guys are. They all want to be out there every snap, unless they're tired, of course, and they're begging to get out. But he's responded well. I think he's been ready to go this week. He's excited for the challenge that they present and what's going to be asked of him. So, I mean, he's been good. I've felt no negativeness from him this week.
What's kind of your talking point with Christian on the big touchdown play there? And I guess how important is that, especially with guys like Diggs?
I mean, on the back end, ultimately do your job, right? And that's all 11 guys. They got a job to do on a run play, on a pass play. They all have a job to do. It's our job on those plays to rush and be able to get home to affect the quarterback, and you're not always going to. I mean, Jeff was close. But those guys got to do their job. They can't get lazy. They can't fall asleep on things. And if you got a job to cover the man, worry about covering the man and not what's going on with the other 10 guys, because that's your job on that play.
So you just kind of maybe got caught looking in the back.
Yeah, he got caught peeking. I think he got a little lazy with his technique, and the eyes started to wander.
Opposite of that, did you like rookie Roger McCreary's game?
Yeah, I thought he did a good job. I thought he did a really good job for the first game, going out there and competing and different things that he's been doing for us. Like, thought he went out there and challenged, wasn't at all scared, So I'm encouraged with him, and hopefully it keeps progressing.
Shane, everybody talks about, obviously, Allen and his receivers. What do you see from their running backs on film? How good are they?
Yeah, they're all different, right? They're all different. Singletary, Moss, I think they both run the ball really hard. I think they've done a good job of introducing some different schemes to kind of help those guys a little bit different schematically than what they were last year in the run game. But they do. They're running the ball hard. They're fighting for yards. No different than the quarterback fighting for yards. Again, it's going to be a game where we're going to have to be able to set the edge on them, and hopefully we can build a wall where they can't get that steam going downhill on us.
What you guys lose in David, Anine from the practice squad, and maybe also have you gotten impressions on Tuska so far?
Yeah, I think David did a great job for us in the preseason. The rush ability, he was progressing. He was improving every day. I think we saw that from training camp on through. And Tuska's been good. He's been bought in. He's learning as we go. Just like all these guys, they're trying to carve out a role for himself. And he's done a good job, everything we've asked him up to this point.
What is the challenge when they used, I think, 3 different backs on Thursday night? I mean, I guess the Giants, you kind of knew you see a lot of Barkley. What's the challenge when you got so many guys rotating in?
Yeah, I think you got to know their skill sets. They're all a little bit different. Singletary to Moss to Cook, right? They're all different in how potentially they could use them because of those skill sets. And just like anything else, we talked a little bit about the DB receiver deal, like knowing who you're lined up against and what they're trying to do and how they run their routes. It's no different with running backs, right? How patient are they? How impatient are they? How hard are they hitting it? Like, there's all these, are they more quick than fast? There's a bunch of different skill sets that come into play. Can they catch out of the backfield? All those things, we got to have a good understanding of who each guy is.
Not one play in particular, but do you feel like with the way the first half went that you guys maybe took your foot off the gas a little there in the second half?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that. I think the X plays killed us, and it let them back in the game. That's the thing. Like, if we don't give up the X plays, we got to make them earn it. And who knows what happens. But when you get those X plays and they're right back in the game and the momentum starts to swing, it just gets hard. And I think those 2 plays kind of demoralized us a little bit more so than us truly just letting our foot off the gas. But again, we battled. Like, after those 2 plays, we battled. We found some stops, and then unfortunately we weren't able to get it done on that last drive there.
What did Hooker do really well on the interception there in the end zone?
Yeah, I think he was in a good position. They tried to run some spot pick deal and rub him, and he was able to play over the top of it. He was in a good spot to where he was able to get his eyes back. We talk about a man coverage a lot. Like, we're not really looking for interceptions. We're looking for PBUs and playing through the hands and making sure our eyes are on our man, right? So we're not losing him. But he was in a good spot. I think he was able to get over the top, and he was kind of in phase with Saquon, and he was able to take a peek, and then that's when he saw the ball and was able to make it.
That is Shane Bowen, defensive coordinator for the Titans. So we've heard from Todd Downing, we've heard from Bowen, we've heard from Craig Ackerman. We're going to summarize when we come back, and then it'll be Ask D-Mase at 12:30. So we'll hit some key points. We'll get Derek's take on it in our next segment. Stay tuned for that. And get ready for the Ask D-Mase. If you want to get your text questions in right now, feel free to do that, and we will read them at 12:30. 615-737-1025. Be creative, be fun. Yeah, bring it.
Bring it
on Friday. Help the show. Enhance the show. You can do it. we have confidence in you, and we're looking for your help. 615-737-1025 for Ask D-Mase at the bottom of the hour. Hey, are you getting hit hard with higher costs, higher interest rates? Is your credit card rate going up every month? Hey, if you'd like to wipe out those credit cards before the holidays, it's time to call Loan Pronto because your home equity can rescue you right now. Your home's value is still way up, and there's a ton of cash that you can get right now. And Loan Pronto specializes in that zero-cost cash-out home refi. You can get tens of thousands of dollars in as little as 2 weeks. You can pay off all those credit cards and consolidate everything into one super low payment. You can save around $800 a month from your monthly budget. So call Loan Pronto and find out more about this. Now, you might be saying, well, the interest rates are going up a little bit. Yes, they are. But it's offset by your credit card rate going to zero, and here is what Loan Pronto will offer you. When rates come back down, Loan Pronto will refinance you again for free. So don't wait. Call Loan Pronto and get your game plan going. Do it now. You can even skip your next 2 house payments altogether. Loan Pronto can be reached at 615-499-5780 or go to loanpronto.com. That's 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
185! Every team needs a quarterback.
185!
That's why we have
Hasselbeck, bootleg, rollout, toss, touchdown!
Tim. ESPN NFL analyst Tim Hasselbeck gives his expertise on all things NFL.
How that team is built, I think there's a lot to like about them.
Every Tuesday at noon, Tim with Chase, Willy, and D-Mase. Presented by Red Spirits and Wine in Bellevue and BetUS.com on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Family Leisure is having a come out and play sale.
That's right. Family Leisure is inviting you to come out and play.
Family Leisure has hundreds of pools in stock and on sale. DIY pools start at only $16.99. 24-foot pools are only $29.99 installed.
More than 100 spas in stock and incoming, starting at only $29.99.
Hundreds of sets of patios in stock and on sale.
The Sabre infrared grill in stock and on sale at only $11.99. Come out and play at both huge locations, Franklin and Antioch.
In St. Pete, Clearwater, Florida, the beach is just the beginning. Because here, there's so much more to explore. So let's paddle, and maybe even parasail. Let's hit the trails, the coffee shops, the quaint boutiques, and craft breweries. And then let's indulge in some fresh seafood with a sea view. From the Gulf Coast to the Bay, there's something for every taste and every interest. So let's make the most of every sun-drenched minute, and let's shine. Start planning your next escape at visitstpeteclearwater.com.
National Playmakers Academy with former Vols Buck Fitzgerald and James Stone, along with former Austin Peay Governor Vic Wright, offer one of the best football developmental organizations in the nation. MPA has over 30 NFL alumni, 800-plus college football scholarship signees, and 25 high school football All-Americans. If you have a student athlete in middle school or high school that is looking for the best football training and college football recruiting help around, contact National Playmakers Academy today, 615-456-2680, or email april.mpafootball@gmail.com.
Looking for a career with purpose or have that passion for youth development? Boys and Girls Clubs of Middle Tennessee provides a safe place where youth gain the tools to learn, lead, and reach their full potential. And that starts with you, offering competitive pay and free after-school care for employees. Learn more at bgcmt.org. American colonists fought, sacrificed, and died to establish and preserve the freedoms now guaranteed to us by the Constitution of the United States. The right to privacy has come into the public's attention through various controversial Supreme Court rulings. Privacy is not specifically mentioned in the Constitution, but over the years, the Supreme Court has made decisions that have established the right to privacy as a basic human right. Know your rights and know what it says and does not say. This announcement was provided by the National Society Daughters of the American Revolution.
It's on. It's happening. Remember, you can watch us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter.
Get out of the way. I'm watching the game.
Presented by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. This is Chase, Willy, and D-Mase on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and on the Game Nashville app.
Some fun stuff to say. He said, first of all, I can't believe I'm almost as big as this guy is. We're about the same size. He said, I might be able to run faster, but his vertical's better. But just up against a guy like that who's been in the league so many years, what a challenge does he always pose?
Yeah, he's a Hall of Fame player. He's disruptive. He can take over a game at any point of the game, so you got to make sure we take account of him on each and every play and each and every snap. It's the type of player he is. That's how it's been since he's been in the league, and we actually train at the same training facility, so I see him often in the offseason, but it's going to be a challenge going up against him.
Derrick Henry at the podium today. He did mention that he's his own worst critic. He's hard on himself after the first game. Feels like there's more there in the running game. Looking to try to get more done on Monday night. Willy Donick, Derek Mason here with you. Don't forget, Ask D-Mase coming up at the bottom of the hour. So make sure you get your text questions in. You can also call in on our phone line, 615-737-1025, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. It's really interesting when you break it down, D-Mase. We've heard from all three phases.
Mm-hmm.
We heard all of the I should say revelation. He revealed that that they moved the ball to the right hash not because it was Randy Bullock's preference, but it was just what the data said was the best spot on the field to make the kick. But in doing so, they moved back 3 yards, and they missed a chance to advance the ball a little bit further. So interesting. Maybe a little bit overthinking in our mind. Then Todd Downing came on, and really there was a lot of little things that probably were the difference in winning and losing for the offense. They did some really good things, but their inability to get the little plays. He mentioned, hey, it's on me. The Chigakonkwo play was a bad call. I screwed it up. There were some other plays that they didn't execute. Derrick Henry dropping the snap on a 3rd and short. But the inability to get the 3rd and shorts was a big issue for the offense. Then we just heard in the last segment from Todd Downing where he talked about, quote, X plays. What does he mean by that? Explosive plays. And he really said the 2 big plays changed the entire game. And he said, man, I mean, you could just hear him in his voice, that it marred an otherwise pretty deep. They did some good things on defense, but he said those 2 plays really changed the game. And looking back on that, that was maybe the difference in the game, other than the last drive. And really, there was an explosive play on that one, too. There's a long run by Barkley that got him down there. But let's get to the explosive plays and what he said about what went wrong there and what your thoughts were.
There were, the Titans had several big plays, and we talked about those big plays the other day. But then the Giants had 3 big plays, but those 3 big plays turned into touchdowns as opposed of the Titans. Either, one turned into a touchdown, a few into a field goal, a few into no points. And when you're playing a team like the Giants and you get these explosive plays, you have to capitalize and cash in on them. Now, Buffalo, their 3 plays, you look at the Saquon Barkley big run. Well, Shane Bourne was saying, listen, if guys play their technique, if guys stay in their lanes, then that Saquon Barkley, play doesn't, get 60, 70 yards downfield. If Dupree sets the edge and pushes Saquon inside, then Big Jeff is right there to make the tackle. Or you got those linebackers that are sweeping across the field to make those tackles. But when you're playing hero ball, you not only take yourself out of the play, but you take your teammate out of the play. By you stunting inside and thinking you can shoot the gap, you run into Jeffrey Simmons, and now Jeffrey Simmons can't get to the play like it's designed for him to get to. So you can't, when you're a team like this, when you're playing against explosive individuals, you can't play hero ball. You just can't. You got to play within the framework of the defense. And the first half, that's what they were doing. The second half, for whatever reason, they decided, okay, yeah, the technique costs us for this, but I'm going to do this. He talked about Fulton, the big pass to Sterling Shepard.
Yep.
Touchdown.
Technique.
It's technique. Why are you looking in the backfield 30 yards down the field, 40 yards down the field? Even if the quarterback does decide to run, you're not going to be the first person to hit him or have an opportunity to make the tackle. Play your man. Do your job. It was always taught to us, listen, be where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be that. Be there. Now, that can be on the football field or off the football field. But on the football field, if a play is called for you to run a slant, 3-step slant, well, run that 3-step slant and be right where the quarterback anticipates you to be. Don't be somewhere else. Don't run a slant and then pivot out or stop on the route. Do exactly what the route is called for you to do. Same thing with defense. Do exactly. Play the gaps, set the edges, play disciplined football. Don't peek in the backfield. Play your man. Because if they play their technique, you don't have the big Saquon run. You don't have the long touchdown to Sterling Shepard, and the Titans win that football game.
What else jumped out at you for Shane Bowen? One thing that was asked was about the young corners, and certainly they'll be part of the story again. Some of his thoughts on Roger McCreary. He seemed to be very thumbs up on McCreary. Other than the play by Fulton where on the technique, I think you like where Fulton is right now in terms of his development. And then there's Farley, who didn't play as many snaps, but he had some thoughts about Farley as well. So what did you make of what he said there?
I think he believes in these guys, but it's all about technique and doing. Again, it goes back to doing your job, whatever that job is. Whatever we're asking you to do, just do it. Don't try to do everybody else's job. Don't try to do more than what we're asking you to do, especially these young corners. You're not experienced enough to play outside of the framework of our defense. Play our defense. Play it strong, play it fast, and play it physical. If you do that, 9 times out of 10, good things will start to happen. If you don't do that, 9 times out of 10, bad things will happen. And it happened in the case of Fulton. Now, McQuarrie, he's going to be a good player. Farley, the jury is still out on him. I think he's still, not only is he still sort of learning the nuances of this defense, but he's learning the nuances of playing corner. It doesn't look like he's truly comfortable playing that position. And understandable, because he hadn't been playing it that long. He was hurt last year. I mean, before that, in college, he didn't start playing corner until maybe his last year or two. So he's a project in the making. He's a guy that they're going to stay on, and if he continues to improve, he's going to continue to get playing time. But if not, then obviously they're going to have to find someone else to play that spot. But I think Shane Bowen, he feels confident enough in his young corners that he can go out there and let them play. They just need to, stick to the details and play their assignment.
Finally, I detect, and I think you would say the same thing, I detect a lot of presence and confidence in Shane Bowen, security, when he addresses the media as opposed to Downing. Do you sense that a little bit?
It's obvious, because there's a difference between that, and that's why you have first-year guys playing different than fifth-year guys, because they're just fifth-year guys are comfortable. It's rare when a young guy comes in and he just gets it and he feels comfortable and you see the confidence in him. That doesn't happen a lot. But when you've been in this situation for years on top of years on top of years, you sort of, you get comfortable at what you're doing. That's Shane Bowen. He's confident and comfortable at what he's doing. Mind you, he got a bunch of playmakers. And his defense was one of the best defenses in the National Football League last year.
So even though they're coming off a loss,
exactly,
he still sounds like he's confident.
Exactly,
and
he's
believes
confident
in what they're doing.
He's confident. He's gotten that vote of confidence from Vrabel. Downing The minute they brought in Kelly, that wasn't a vote of confidence. And then after the first game, all what happened and what went on during that game, in particular the second half, that's not a vote of confidence.
And you were sensing it, because I think too, there's a little more wheels turning in answering the questions.
Exactly.
And that might be a little thing, just an observation, may mean nothing when he gets in there, but it's just interesting to listen to both of them.
You see, Shane Bowen can address, like, okay, when we're playing the defense, if, the defense is designed to do this. Well, Saquon Barkley gets that big run because we're not playing our technique. He didn't say nothing about the play was wrong. The defense that I called was wrong. He said, listen, and he said it in a way where guys understand that. Guys want to be held accountable. Like, listen, they're not doing what we're asking them to do, because they know if they're doing what we're asking them to do, the play is going to work out in our favor. Well, Downey doesn't have that confidence. You can tell he's second-guessing himself. Well, maybe, I shouldn't. That tells me Vrabel must have said something to him in the meetings. There must have been something said, because he's not confident in the plays that he called during the game. In hindsight, looking back, well, maybe, I shouldn't have ran that. I shouldn't have. No, that was the right play you ran. They just got to block better.
Okay. Interesting stuff. When we come back, we will get the Ask D-Mase segments going. At 1 o'clock, Eddie George. And also at 1:15, Louis Riddick, outstanding analyst, will get his take on the Titans-Bills matchup at 1:15. That's all coming up. But remember, Ask D-Mase. Get the text going. Get the calls going. 615-737-1025. Ask D-Mase anything. Titans, NFL, college, life, anything. Let's have some fun. 615-737-1025, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We're back after this.
Hey, this is Phil Forsberg. And this is Smashville.
Forsberg a shot, broken up in front, given back to Forsberg, and here come the Habs.
You're listening to the flagship of the Nashville Predators radio network, ESPN 1025 The Game.
Listen to Stillman & Company with me, Caroline Fenton, all season long on ESPN 1025 The Game for your chance to win Nashville Sounds tickets, courtesy of 312 Pizza Company in Germantown.
Maine Kenny here. Kenny Maine here. All right, that one was on me. And hey, for new Caesars Sportsbook app users, your first bet's on Caesars. So if you don't win, you get it wrong, you get up to $1,250 back as a free bet. Download the Caesars Sportsbook app and sign up with the code RADIOFULL.
Open to new users in Tennessee who are 21 or older. Qualifying bet loses. Bet amount returned as a credit. Must use within 14 days. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. Gambling problem? Call or text the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Raise your glass to the start of Oktoberfest and keep it raised for our authentic Stein hoisting competition. Join in on Fridays in September at 6 p.m. this month for the chance to win weekly prizes and Sam Adams swag at Twin Peaks in Cool Springs.
A new fair is hatching in Nashville. Come on out and experience 10 days of dinner shows, barnyard animals, culture arts, sporting events, and 4 nights of Nashfest with themed music. We have something for everyone now through September 18th. Skip the line and buy online at nashfair.fun. A regional fair with an urban flair. The Nashville Fair. It's a hatchin' good time.
What I would tell people is that you don't have to be in pain anymore.
Meet Dr. Justin Garzone, Medical Director at QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in using advanced regenerative medicine to give people lasting relief from chronic joint pain.
What's exciting is that I get to see patients with our treatments actually get better.
Have you discovered regenerative medicine? It's an all-natural way to use the power of your own body to restore and repair damaged tissue.
We're using things that are already in your body, and we're simply simply concentrating them and then put it in an area of your body that you're having the pain so that your body can start the regenerative process, the healing process.
For pain in your knees, hips, back, shoulders, don't assume the old treatments are the only treatments. Avoid drugs and surgery and get lasting relief. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024. 615-249-4024.
Dell Technologies' semi-annual sale has arrived, and it's time to upgrade to the latest business technology. Save big on laptops and desktops with Windows 11 Pro. Plus, get amazing deals on server, storage, and cloud solutions, as well as top work accessories, including docks, monitors, and more. Dell Technologies recommends Windows 11 Pro for business. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL for special business offers during our semi-annual sale.
Did he get it? He did. Touchdown, Vanderbilt.
This is your home for Vanderbilt football.
This Saturday, Vanderbilt football hits the road, takes on Northern Illinois. Our coverage begins at 1 p.m.
Vanderbilt is on 93.3 Classic Hits and the Classic Hits app.
Hey, this is Philip Forsberg. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
D-Mase. He played 15 years in the NFL.
Quick throw. Touchdown, Derek Mason.
He had over 12,000 receiving yards.
Midfield, and there he goes. 80 yards for the touchdown.
And now you can ask him anything. Have a question about football or life? Now's your time to ask D-Mase.
We'll welcome you in.
Now on Chase, Willy, and D-Mase. On 102.5 and 106.3, The Game and the Game Nashville app.
It is time to ask D-Mase, a segment we always look forward to Fridays at 12:30. I got my days wrong. Come on, it's Friday. Come on. People panic.
Don't
Wednesday.
take it back to Wednesday.
It's only
please.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
So we got to move forward, not backwards. Come on. Hey, D-Mase is 2-0 in our silly underdog picks on the college ranks, 2-1 overall. And don't forget to get your picks in, presented by Volunteer Hose and Gasket and Superbook Sports, voted #1 sportsbook in Vegas. Download the app today. So just make sure you're playing. Pick your 3 games before kickoff tomorrow. Just a reminder there for the silly and underdog picks. We're having a great time with that. And D-Mase is off to a great start. So D-Mase, we got a lot of people lined up here. 615-737-1025. We've got the word out. The first one seems to be sort of a person that knows you here.
Yeah.
The first, ask Derek what is Kentucky football ranked right now. Tell him Emily wants to know. We got to find out what's going on with that. Emily must be a Kentucky fan.
The poll that I subscribe to is the coaches poll, the AFCA coaches poll. And in that poll, the Spartans of Michigan State is ranked 9th. And the Little Cats of Kentucky is ranked 10th. That's the only poll that I go by, Willie. I don't go by no other polls. So So I don't know what other polls you're talking about, Emily. But that's the poll that I go by, and many people I know go by.
All right, let's get. we got them lined up here. 615-737-1025. You're welcome to call as well and ask your question live. But let's go back and let's go first come first serve with this. D-Mase, if you could only pick one play from your career to remember for the rest of your life, what would it be? One play. This is Cole from Clarksville. Thank you for your text, Cole.
Oh man, one play. God, that is a good question. I would say maybe the punt, the free kick in the AFC Championship game versus the Jacksonville Jaguars.
That's a big one.
That one, and probably
that sealed the deal, right?
Yeah, that sealed the deal.
Once you ran that kick back for a touchdown, I knew the game was over. Yeah. I was like, they're going to the Super Bowl.
That one, and probably the one, the slant. We were playing the Detroit Lions in the rain, and I was in Baltimore, and Flacco threw me a slant, and I got crushed by 2 people, but managed to stay up and scored on like a 67-yard touchdown. So,
very good.
Those 2. But there's a lot of plays. But, yeah, those 2 plays.
It helps if you give your name. We'd love for you to do that, but we appreciate all of the texts here. Here's one. What is your favorite route versus a particular coverage? Do you have a go-to route against a particular coverage? This morning we talked a lot of man coverage versus zone, blitz versus non-blitz. Anything come to mind for that?
I loved running a 9-stop versus man coverage because it's almost unstoppable. If the quarterback puts the ball on your back shoulder and he throws it before you turn around, it's almost impossible for the defender to stop it unless he's cheating. But if you come off the ball as if you're running a 9 route, then he has to honor that. And that 9-stop, when the quarterback throws it at the back of your head to the outside, that pass is almost unstoppable. You see a lot of teams running that back shoulder and that 9-stop play, especially when they need a crucial first down. And then a comeback route. Love the comeback route. Get them running 15, 20 yards down the field and just stop. And that quarterback puts it right on the sideline. Man, they couldn't stop that route. Especially playing man-to-man, they couldn't stop it.
Take me through again. What's the easiest way to describe here on the radio? You can't kind of walk it for us or put your finger in the dirt like Steve Spurrier on the sideline. But like a 9 route. What is a 9 route?
A 9 route
down
is
and out,
a,
down and in. Like
a 9 route is just a go route, flat out go route. Now it can be ran different. If it's zoned in, typically we're trying to. If it's cover 2. You typically want to try to get outside release and try to get up the field vertical as quickly as possible because you're trying to get that spacing because typically there's if you got an inside route, you're trying to stretch that safety and make him make a decision. So that 9 route versus cover 2 turns into an outside release and go because if that safety doesn't get over, the quarterback can hit you in a hole in like 12 to 15
So
yards.
we can picture
Exactly.
that. That happens
Absolutely.
a lot. So, Kevin, good text on that one. Next up, RL from Nashville says, can you put a bucket on Michigan State this weekend to not just cover but win the game at Washington? There's money to be won. Triple exclamation point, it says.
Book it. Mel Tucker have them boys ready to go. They got to travel out west to Washington. All right? Not Washington, D.C., people. Washington to the state. They got to travel out west. But, yeah, book it. Book it.
So you like the Spartans?
Oh, I love. Come on, why wouldn't I don't care if the Spartans were 0-15. I'm still going for them. I'm still pulling for them.
Yeah. They're ranked. That's one of the better games, I think.
Yeah, they're ranked
on
9th.
the docket.
They're ranked 9th in the poll that I look at.
As
Kentucky's
you
ranked 10th. Yeah.
This is not D-Mace's poll, though, right? This is a legit poll.
Yeah, this is a legit poll that I'm looking at. Yes.
that call, Lewis!
Lewis is coming up at 115. Lewis Riddick. Here's Viking Matt, who is a frequent texter to the show. He says, what about Caleb Farley as a wide receiver? Titans need help there. And he kind of gives it an LOL. But once upon a time, Caleb Farley was a wide receiver at Virginia Tech before they switched him.
Yeah, he was. Now, I don't know what type of wide receiver he was. Was he a good wide receiver? Was he an okay wide receiver? Was he a potential starter?
If he walked into the room, his body type, if you told me this is a wide receiver, I'd say, oh, yeah, he looks the part.
Yeah.
He looks like a wide receiver.
Long, lanky, thin. So he has a wide receiver's build. But I don't know if they can, if he showed the ability to play both ways, then best believe they would try to put him somewhere on the offense. But I don't think he's shown that ability. I'm just hoping.
I think those days are over.
Yeah, I'm just hoping he can show the ability to play defensive back. That's all. Worry about one job, brother.
Yeah, that's right. That horse is out of the barn.
Exactly, it's gone.
We got TD from Nashville here. He says, D-Mase, what are your other talents at Mumford High in the Motor City? Could you dunk a basketball?
Oh, of course.
He says, by the way, not bragging, but at 5'9", I could. What you got?
I was dunking in high school, man. Of course, I dunked. I played basketball because basketball truly is my first love. I enjoy watching basketball. But, yeah, I played basketball, ran track. Never tried to play baseball. I didn't want to get hit by the ball. And that's honestly speaking, that's why I didn't want to play baseball. And I know people are thinking, well, you got hit by guys that were bigger. That's different. That's different than getting hit by baseball. And I know it didn't happen in high school, but I was second in spelling bee. Thank you, people. Thank you.
Well-rounded.
Thank you.
Well-rounded. That is. We got some great questions rolling in here for our Ask D-Mase segment, so we're going to take a timeout. When we come back, we'll have the second half. Really good stuff. Now, okay, let's just clarify. Dunking the basketball. In games?
Yes.
Okay. High school games?
No, I didn't dunk. I could dunk in a game, but I never got an opportunity
Okay.
to dunk in a game. Yes. I mean, I was dunking, in practice or dunking, just like messing around.
Different levels, just clarifying here. Now, I wonder if the 5'9" guy that he didn't put the name on here.
Yeah. Hey, people,
he says 5'9", but he said he could dunk. So it's like,
I believe him. He could dunk. Yeah, I believe him.
But
my son
did you do it in the game?
Didn't do it in the
That's the
game.
next level.
Didn't do it.
I did not in college. My closest ever, I had a chance to dunk one at Mississippi State. I had 8 points. We were getting killed. It's my sophomore year. I did not have any double-digit games under my belt, so I laid it in because I was like, if I miss this dunk, number one, we're getting killed. Coach is going to kill me. Plus, I'll end up with single digits. So I just laid it in. I didn't take the chance. But if I look back, that was my best chance to get a dunk in a college game. I didn't get it. All right, we're coming back with more Ask D-Mase next here on 102.5 The Game.
Every Wednesday at noon.
No matter the down and distance and no matter the score, they're going to give him the football.
Outkick 360's Jonathan Hutton joins Chase, Willy, and D-Mase to talk all things Titans and NFL.
I hope that they're not throwing flags simply because the league wants to see more of them.
He's got opinions and insights on the two-tone blue.
They are not as good at wide receiver and the playmaking department.
Catch Hutton every Wednesday at noon. Presented by Blend Bar with Davidoff Cigars on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and The Game Nashville app.
All right, look, I may be off today, but I have to tell you about Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey because it is my go-to. It's my favorite when I'm out and about with all of my friends. And I like it as a chilled shot, but you can have it on the rocks as a regular drink, a peanut butter old-fashioned, a PB&J shot with a berry liqueur, an espresso martini. It doesn't matter. Go to screwballwhiskey.com for more recipes, and they'll help you out there. But here's why I love the most awarded peanut butter whiskey in the world. It's because it's an original, just like me, just like the suit. It's made with real peanuts, real peanut butter, and, of course, real whiskey. And it's natural flavored to be enjoyed, like I said, any way you want. And it goes down so smooth. So when you're out and about with your friends this weekend, do like I do. Ask for it by my name and say, I want a Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. But also do like I do. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2022 Screwball Spirits, LLC, San Diego, California. Whiskey with natural flavors, 35% alcohol by volume.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 Code Red meteorologist Greg Bobis. High temperatures today a little warmer than yesterday. Upper 80s to near 90 degrees. A little bit of humidity you'll feel by late in the day, but no rain. Plenty of sunshine, and that continues going into the weekend. No rain until next week.
Brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face truck today.
Dad, I don't feel good.
I'll grab the Vicks DayQuil Kids Honey.
Isn't DayQuil just for parents?
Actually, Vicks DayQuil Kids Honey is just for kids, specially designed to treat kids' most bothersome cold symptoms quickly with a honeylicious tasting flavor kids like.
You know what else kids like?
DayQuil Kids Honey first, then video games.
Deal.
Vicks DayQuil Kids Honey. The kids' honeylicious daytime coughing, congestion, stuffy head, stuffy nose medicine. Safe for ages 6+.
Honey, what's an 8-letter word for difficult to explain?
When we planned on retiring, we never planned on Medicare being so confusing.
What's a 6-letter word for special skills or knowledge?
Fortunately, Farm Bureau Health Plans is an expert on all things Medicare. With 75 years of helping Tennesseans, they helped us understand our Medicare options.
Why are these things so complicated?
Talk to your local representative or visit fbhp.com. Farm Bureau Health Plans. Plan on us.
Are you getting hit hard with higher costs and higher interest rates? Is your credit card rate going up every month? Hey, Willie Donick, how'd you like to wipe out those credit cards before the holidays? Call Loan Pronto. Your home equity can rescue you right now. Your home's value is still way up, and there's a ton of cash that you can get. Loan Pronto specializes in zero-cost cash-out home refis. Get tens of thousands in as little as 2 weeks. Pay off credit cards and consolidate everything into one super low payment. People who do this usually cut around $800 from their monthly budget. And even if your home mortgage rate goes up a little bit, it's offset by your credit card rate going to 0. When rates come back down, Loan Pronto will refinance you again for free. Call Loan Pronto. Do it now. You can even skip your next 2 house payments altogether. Call 615-499-5780 or go to loanpronto.com. That's 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
Robbie Stanley.
To avoid non-contact injuries and not repeat last year.
Joe Rexrode.
Just wait until next year's national TV schedule comes out.
Robbie and Rexrode. Mornings from 6 to 10 on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
I'm ready to step this up a notch.
You're listening to Chase, Willy, and D-Mase on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app. D-Mase. He played 15 years in the NFL.
Quick throw. Touchdown, Derek Mason.
He had over 12,000 receiving yards.
Midfield, and there he goes. 80 yards for the touchdown.
And now you can ask him anything. Have a question about football or life? Now's your time to ask D-Mase.
We'll welcome you in.
Now on Chase, Willy, and D-Mase. On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Our Friday show rolling along, part 2 of Ask D-Mase. We got the texters lined up here. 615-737-1025. Still time to get some texts in. Eddie George at 1. Lewis Riddick at 1:15. We're going to have some great talk coming up in our 1 o'clock hour, plus our daily trivia question. Now, we've got it lined up here, D-Mase. I don't know if we're going to get to all these. We're going to have to go rapid fire here. So we're going to pick up our tempo. We might have to go no huddle. Okay, we can do that, right?
Let's do it.
We're on the same page. We have good chemistry.
I'm conditioned for no huddle.
Yeah, there we go. So it's tough to top TD's question about the 5'9" guy who can dunk, challenging to see if D-Mase could dunk. And D-Mase said, absolutely, I can.
Come on now.
Milo says, hey, Derek, who was the worst teammate you ever played with?
The worst teammate I've ever played with. I don't, you know what? And
he wants names.
And I can say this truthfully. I don't think I played with any bad teammates. Now, I may have played with some teammates that may have, was putting other things before their job, but I haven't played with any like bad teammates, guys that I just think are bad people, but because everyone's usually we all come from different backgrounds, we all had different religions, but we all were there for a common purpose, and when you have a common purpose, I think it supersedes where you come from, the color of your skin, your religion, sexual preference. I think it overcomes all of that. And that was so special. That is what's so special, or was so special about the locker room here in Nashville, and then a locker room in Baltimore.
Got a good one here from Joe. D-Mase, how did you get yourself in the right mindset after a bad game or disappointing loss so it doesn't affect your next game?
So what's your mindset? Talk about your mindset. No, thank you for the question. I appreciate it. You know what? It's a simple question, but it's a really good question, because some guys and women have a hard time after both a win and a loss to sort of put it behind them and move on to the next game. For some reason, I am sometimes good and sometimes bad. My kids say sometimes it could be bad. I do a good job at compartmentalizing things and sort of putting things in their place and then moving on. Sometimes that could be good and sometimes that could be bad. But I found in an arena of sports, it was good for me because you don't want to be on this emotional roller coaster. Yes, in the games you want to have that eagerness and that grit and grind and that dogness in you to go out there and compete. But you don't want to be an emotional player. And when I say about an emotional player, when you're just so up and down.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got to be even keel when you're on the field. And then once you've had a loss, you're upset that you lost, and that's how I was. I was upset that I lost, upset that I played well, but I had to move on. The minute I left that building and, you know, I got in the car and, you know, I went home and I talked about the game. After that day, I was done with it. It was like, it's gone. It's over with. I can't do anything to change it. It's done. It's over with. Just make sure I don't make those same mistakes over again.
It's only a game. Why do you have to be mad?
Shane weighs in and just wants to report a scoreboard update. Afanasiev scores, and Askarov is playing great in the rookie showcase today. Thanks for the update, Shane. I don't think that was a question for D-Mase, though. But we appreciate you weighing in. Yes, he scores. Kyle's got the next one. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Pork and Beans Jones goes by the polls as well. He's referring Kentucky versus Michigan State, I guess, there. Let's see. Was the lingo – this is a better question from Kyle. He says this is his actual question. Better question. Was the lingo for routes, the terminology, was it different between the Ravens and the Titans when you switched? How big of a difference in terminology was it?
No, it wasn't. In regards to the actual route terminology, what we called it is the same. Now, in regards to the play, now the play is called different. But you know, for instance, you know, in Baltimore, all slants would probably be called like San Diego. That means you got your slants. Well, in Nashville here in Tennessee, we probably would have called it something else, but it's still a slant route, you know.
So the route's the same.
Yeah, the route's the same. Just the terminology is different. Yeah. So, but yeah, we didn't. I mean, whether it was a 9 route, curl route, comeback, you know, bench route, in route, it was all called the same. But it was just within that play. What was that play called to tell us we had to run those routes?
Alex texts in and says, D-Mase, who would play Derek Mason in the movie about the 1999 Titans?
Ooh, who would play me?
Yes.
Listen, I would say Morris Chestnut probably, because he's played in some, some athletic, some sports movies. Who else? I don't know who else, but that's the first person.
Maybe we just need to have some auditions.
Yeah, we can have some auditions. I can get my son to play me.
John Travolta.
Yeah, John Travolta. He's a little bit too old now.
He's getting up there a little bit. He is getting up there. We need maybe the young up-and-coming actor, who you haven't heard before the movie, but hey, did you see his role as playing a young Derek Mason? That maybe we can give this guy his start.
There are several guys I think that would be great at playing, Derek Mason in the 1999, what was it, 99? Yeah. 1999 NFL season.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to work on this project. All right, Rico text, D-Mase, do you think Deion Sanders would excel as a head coach at a Power 5 school or maybe on the NFL level?
I will answer this by saying, heck yeah. Okay. Absolutely. I mean, Coach Sanders just has a way, like, one, the thing that I like about him, and if you don't follow him, you need to. He's a great follow. But he cares. Like, he genuinely cares about those kids. Like, genuinely. It ain't just about – he cares about those kids. And when you genuinely care about kids in your program, kids in general, they will run through a wall for you. They will. You know that, Willie. They will do whatever it is, that you ask them to do, meaning – good things, improving themselves or whatnot. But he truly cares. And I think that would spill over into a Power 5 conference. I think that would spill over into the NFL because he understands, he understands the game. He's been where they've been. He's excelled. He's a Hall of Famer. And he's a guy that he just doesn't talk the talk. He also walks it. So absolutely Deion Sanders would excel at a Power 5 and then on the NFL team. Don't be surprised in the next 3 or 4 years, he probably is approached by an NFL team to coach.
That will be very interesting to watch as he continues to pile up the wins at Jackson State. Pretty interesting. That could be a good question for Eddie George in our next segment. That's coming up soon. But first, by the way, we have a nominee for Cuba Gooding Jr.,
Oh, yeah.
trying to reprise the role as Rod Tidwell. But, he's better known as Rod Tidwell. But, so I don't know.
He could be D-Mase.
Could he be D-Mase?
Yeah,
I don't know.
D-Mase.
I still kind of like the idea of an up-and-comer trying to capture the essence of D-Mase here. Somebody says, definitely Cuba Gooding Jr. We got some people saying.
I would love, you know what? I would love for Matthew McConaughey to play me. Just because of the way he talks. I mean, he would be so smooth. I don't know if he can play football or even act like he can play football, but I just like Matthew. That's all.
And now we have Shane saying now that Del Gaizo has scored for Nashville. Shane is very excited about how the Predators are doing today.
Okay. He is a defender, so that's a good goal, I guess.
Yes. All right, final question here for you. Amy from Arkansas, not a coincidence. She's asking about Traylon Burks. What advice, D-Mase, would you give Traylon Burks? Have you ever considered reaching out to Traylon like Eddie did with Derrick Henry?
Have I ever thought about? No, I haven't. You just, to me, that's one of those situations where, if someone that he knows reaches out to you and say, hey, can you, whether it be someone on the coaching staff, someone within that building or someone he knows, say, hey, won't you talk to this young man? I would have no problem with doing that. I've done it before with certain players. But the advice I would give Traylon is just keep playing. Just keep going to work. Just keep grinding. I know you haven't gotten the ball as much as you wanted to, but, this is your rookie season. Eventually, if you continue to do the things that they're asking you, continue to do the things the right way, continue to work hard, continue to go out there and play with joy and happiness, it will come to you. Your plays will come to you. You just got to make them. You just got to be ready to make those plays. A lot of guys talk about making plays. A lot of guys complain about they're not getting an opportunity to make a play. But, when you get an opportunity to make that play, you better make it. You better be ready to make it.
Great stuff for Ask D-Mase this week. We had more texts than we had time for, so keep them coming. We'll do this again next Friday at 12:30. Coming up, Eddie George, head coach, Tennessee State. They've got middle this week. We'll talk Titans Bills as well. Louis Riddick at 1:15, trivia at 1:30. Stay tuned. Final hour is coming up.
You love the game.
Tennessee touchdown! Middle Tennessee gets the score.
We live the game.
Just work on the little things every day.
They think the coaches are just coaches.
We are.
We got pass rushers.
Checkered flag in the air.
Awesome game 7.
What a stop made by UC Salem.
The game. Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
This segment of ESPN 102.5 The Game is brought to you by Train Heating and Cooling Systems. Tested, retested, engineered, and re-engineered to keep up with you. We run together. Visit traininfo.com to find your local independent Train dealer. Traininfo.com. It's hard to stop a train.
312 Pizza Company is a family-owned restaurant located in the heart of Germantown, serving up authentic Chicago-style eats right here in Nashville. 312 Pizza Company only uses the best all-natural ingredients and makes everything in-house from scratch every single day. And trust me, you can taste the difference. They've got deep dish pizza, thin crust pizza, their Italian beef. You'll taste the freshness. Stop in for a pint of local beer and a slice of pizza, or order online at 312pizzacode.com. 312 Pizza Company, Nashville's authentic Chicago pizzeria.
The two most sought-after, most prestigious names in bridal jewelry come together for one epic event next weekend at Genesis Diamonds.
Tacori and Viraggio, the world's premier designers, will be showing off their entire collections. All the latest designs, many showcased for the first time ever, with up to $5,000 in savings.
Everyone loves Tacori, meticulously crafted by master artisans in their California design studio. Discover the hidden details and exceptional quality that sets Tacori apart. There's always more than meets the eye with Tacori. Come explore the entire entire Tacori collection, including all new Tacori fine jewelry, earrings, bracelets, eternity bands, pendants, and more.
If you're engagement ring shopping, this is a once-a-year event you can't miss. Other jewelers aren't even allowed to carry these iconic American-made brands.
Also for this event, Genesis is showcasing an expanded selection of GIA-certified diamonds in all shapes and sizes.
Next weekend, September 23rd through 25th, take advantage of special incentives, zero-interest financing, and as much as $5,000 in savings. Only at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
National Playmakers Academy with former Vols Buck Fitzgerald and James Stone, along with former Austin Peay Governor Vic Wright, offer one of the best football developmental organizations in the nation. MPA has over 30 NFL alumni, 800-plus college football scholarship signees, and 25 high school football All-Americans. If you have a student athlete in middle school or high school that is looking for the best football training and college football recruiting help around, contact National Playmakers Academy today, 615-456-2680, or email april.mpafootball@gmail.com.
Hey, it's Jared. Are you looking to move? If so, do yourself a favor and reach out to my friends at TriStar Moving. You can be assured your move will be stress-free because they've got new utility vans to help with pack jobs to separate your high-value or fragile items from the bulk of your furniture, and their movers are carefully picked and highly trained. No one in the game is doing this. TriStar Moving is raising the standard in the moving industry. When you're ready to move, give them a call. TriStar Moving, 615-640-1219, or online at nationalmoving.org/radio, and tell them Jared Stillman referred you for 10% off. That's TriStar Moving.
Get in on the conversation at 615-737-1025. The game text line is driven by Wilson County Hyundai. Online at wilsoncountyhyundai.com.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUZ HD2 Laverne.
Robbie and Rex Road, Chase, Willy, and D-Mase.
Snowy and Company. Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3.
Terang, it's a high fly ball.
We got pass rushers.
Awesome game 7. Checkered flag in the air.
The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Now let's see if we can bring them to life, all right?
Bringing you entertainment and informative sports talk during your workday.
Smart, funny, classy, and I like him a lot.
This is Chase, Willy, and D-Mase with Chase McCabe, Willy Donick,
Mason, touchdown, Tennessee,
and former NFL wide receiver Derek Mason on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
This is a new level of geek you got going on here.
Final hour of Chase, Willy, and D-Mase here on 102.5 The Game, 106.3 in the Game Nashville app. Willy Donick, Derek Mason here with you on this Friday afternoon. It's time to talk with Eddie George, and it's always fun to talk to Eddie right after the Ask D-Mase segment. I'm sure Eddie will be very amused with this. Eddie, you've got some acting experience. The question for D-Mase was who would play D-Mase in a reprise of the 1999 Tennessee Titans season. Cuba Gooding Jr. got brought up, but I don't know. I mean, you with your acting background, do you have any suggestions?
Wow, that's a great question. Oh man, that's a phenomenal question.
Well, we had two already in Cuban Gooding Jr. and Morris Chestnut, so we had two.
Well, you know what? Morris Chestnut is the perfect choice. Morris Chestnut is the perfect. Yes.
Now
I could definitely.
You guys
look exactly alike. Yes.
you guys don't know that he and Eddie they played in the same movie. You know, what was it? Best Man's Holiday.
Yeah, it was.
Yes.
Yes, Best Man's Holiday. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Sure did.
So,
yeah, but. I think that's my number one choice.
I think it can work. I think it can work. He's going to have to stay in shape, though, because we're talking 1999. He's got, but I have confidence.
Yeah,
I have confidence. Morris is in great shape. Yeah,
he looks like he's in good shape. Yeah.
Yeah, that's spot on. That's spot on.
There we go. All right, Coach. You guys suffered a tough loss. That's 2 in a row. But what are you encouraged by after this past game with Jackson State? Because this is a team that came in scoring a lot of points, high-powered offense. Everyone knows about the quarterback and what he can do. But this was, the score doesn't indicate how tight this game was.
Yeah, Derek. It was 9-3 with about 3 minutes and 37 seconds left in the fourth quarter. And our defense was defending our own in the field. I think they may have had two 13-play drives and a 17-play drive and only gave up 9 points in the entire game. Spent most of the second half on our end of the field. We never passed the 50-yard line in the fourth quarter or the second half as an offense. So the thing that I've learned are two things. One, offensively, we've got to be able to handle the pressure much better. They came in and they opened up the house on us in terms of pressure, blitzes from all over the place. Two, our defense played like warriors. They were tired time and time again. They came up with a big stop, whether it was a blocked field goal or a turnover or a goal line stands, and they gave us a chance to win the game. And I told my team this. I said, we're winning in spite of what's on the scoreboard. We're finding our identity. It's constantly being defined and refined, and it's only a matter of time before it's going to show up on the scoreboard. So we're doing the right things. What we can't do is get down on ourselves, get discouraged, but be encouraged that, hey, we lost 2 ball games the last 2 weeks. Had we won both ball games, we're still on the same spot. We still got to get better in these areas. But we have to learn to beat those type of teams in these type of games in order to take that next step. So we're closing the gap for sure, but we've got to work a little bit harder, and these are the things that we need to work on to get better in order for us to find ways to win those type of games. So, that breakthrough is going to come. I firmly believe that. They had a great week of practice. And, again, you never lose, but you learn. And my thing is, what have we learned as a staff? What have we learned as a team to help us become a championship team, not just win games by luck, but you have the certitude of knowing that, hey, we're talented enough, we're gifted enough, we're in shape, and we're smart enough, and we're battle-tested to play with anybody in the country.
Yes. Now your running back, Devin Starling, he had a solid day with 70 yards on the ground. Will you continue to try to lean on him as you move forward in the season? Because he's been a guy the last couple of weeks that has that running game of yours has really started to get on track. And then I know hopefully as the games continue to go on this season, this would be one of your strong points, not just your quarterback, but your running game as well.
No question, brother. He's been solid, but we have to marry that with an offense that can pass the ball as well. We're not making enough plays in the passing game to complement that. I always say the run opens up the passing attack, and with play action and nakeds and so forth. But I think for us, we have some weapons on the outside that can help with the perimeter game. It can help stretch the ball. It can help make us a more balanced offense. That's my goal. I don't necessarily want to be a 3-yard cloud of dust type of offense. I'll do what's required to win, but I believe in balance, and that's what we're striving to get our receivers more incorporated in the offense, because now we're able to convert on a couple of those third downs. It opens up everything else because we got a lot of 8-man, 9-man. Their safeties, both safeties, playing 7 yards, 5 yards from the line of scrimmage. And, as a quarterback and receiver, you chop. You're like, hey, you've got one-on-one matchups on the outside. Hey, let's get it. Let's eat. But we have yet to prove that we can do that consistently, and those are the things that we need to work on. But we have the talent outside. We certainly have the quarterback talent that can execute those plays. Now it's a matter of execute those plays and get those guys out of the box.
We're talking to TSU's Tennessee State's head football coach, Eddie George. They traveled to Murfreesboro this weekend to play MTSU. Now, Coach, what problems does MTSU present to you this week? Because this is a team that's sort of struggling as well, but you understand going to their place here in town, that could be a big challenge.
Yes, a third straight road game, Derek, but really it's a home game. It's right down the street from where we are, maybe 30-minute drive. They play hard, for sure. Look at, you pop on the tape, And what sticks out to me is that these guys are flying around the ball defensively, offensively. They found their rhythm last week. Earlier in the year when they played James Madison, they only scored 7 points, but they were able to go on the road at Colorado State and put up points and do it in a big fashion. So they've got some playmakers on the outside we have to be conscious of. They're schematically speaking, they present problems. So for our defense, we've got to be mindful of our eyes and have good eye discipline in terms of where the play is, read your keys, and make sure that we're in the right spots because they're capable of moving the football. And defensively, they're going to pressure us. I think they looked at the film last week. It was very successful for Jackson State when they pressured us. They had success. I would expect almost the same type of game plan from them. But they're solid. They come down for short tackles. It's going to take for us to play a clean game. No big penalties, no big turnovers from our side. We've got to create turnovers. And, coaches speak well. We just got to go in there and put our best foot forward, and hopefully we'll come out with the victory.
We're talking to Eddie George, Tennessee State. They've got a big game with Middle coming up tomorrow. Eddie, of course, the Titans have got the Monday night spotlight game in Buffalo. Buffalo looked lights out in their first game. Titans searching, trying to correct some of the things that went wrong against the Giants. This looks like the classic backs-to-the-wall kind of game. But Mike Vrabel's teams seem to have played well in games like this.
Oh, yeah. They're built for it. Ever since Mike took over, they've been able to rise to the occasion, especially after a loss. And I think when you look at last week, they did some good things. They were not able to close the door on the Giants. But, it's early in the year. I think this team definitely gets their attention. They're picked by many to win the Super Bowl, certainly with Josh Allen. But I think Mike Vrabel has a real bead on what they do offensively and defensively to take advantage of some of those things. So I expect a competitive matchup. I think the Titans will prevail because they've always been able to bounce back after a loss under Mike Vrabel.
Eddie, best of luck tomorrow for the Tigers. Looking forward to that. And, of course, you've got your show on Monday night right here on 102.5 The Game with Jonathan Hutton. And we look forward to our next conversation next Friday here on our show.
Outstanding. Hey, you guys take care. All right, Morris. I'll talk to you later, brother.
All right, bro.
Okay, we've got it all set.
Man. Talk to you later.
Morris Chestnut as Derek Mason. I guess we have to assume Eddie George as Eddie George?
Yeah, Eddie George, that's Eddie George.
He can play himself, right?
Yeah.
He's in great shape. We just got to figure out Jeff Fisher now.
Yeah, let's figure that out.
Maybe during the break.
At the break.
Speaking of that, when we come back, Louis Riddick will join us. We will continue our outstanding football conversation on our show today. So Louis Riddick from ESPN coming up on the other side. One of the best things to happen here over the last year or so is the arrival of QC Kinetics. I've been telling you about these guys for a while now, and tons of people have been taking my advice and others. You might have heard Emmett Smith talking about this product, and using the regenerative medicine treatment that QC Kinetics offers. They restore and repair that damaged joint tissue. So if you have had issues with your joint pain, and they are lingering issues, and you're looking for something different, something you haven't tried yet, professional athletes have been doing this for a long, long time. It's the same thing, but now you have access to it here in our listening area. No drugs, no downtime, no steroids, no surgery. We're talking about these regenerative medicine treatments that are all natural. Give QC Kinetics a call in Nashville, Clarksville, and Murfreesboro. 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024 for QC Kinetics.
Want the latest on college football and Nashville sports?
He looks like 1,000 quarterbacks I've seen in a college game.
Join Outkick 360's Chad Withrow every Friday at 5 with Stillman and Company.
The coaching staff kept him and got rid of the other guys.
He'll bring opinions and charisma for a full half hour every week.
If he's so great in the locker room, then give him a coaching gig.
Chad Withrow is presented by Two Rivers Ford. Custom order your new Ford from Two Rivers Ford on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game and a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Raise your glass to the start of Oktoberfest and keep it raised for our authentic Stein hoisting competition. Join in on Fridays in September at 6 p.m. this month for the chance to win weekly prizes and Sam Adams swag at Twin Peaks in Cool Springs.
The Nashville Sheriff is hiring correctional officers. Earn $52,500 after paid training and probation. Positions are available immediately. You must be 21 and over with a high school diploma or GED. Come join our family. That's $52,500 with great benefits. Apply now at sheriff.nashville.gov/apply or call 615-862-8170. Earn $52,500. Stop searching. Apply now. The Nashville Sheriff.
Nashville Generators presents Power Outage Prepping. What are you going to do the next time you lose power? You can rummage through your drawers for batteries, flashlights, or candles, or you can call Nashville Generators, 615-885-1124, 615-885-1124. Nashville Generators will install a whole house Generac generator that'll keep your lights on, pipes flowing, and Wi-Fi working, so you don't lose a thing. Don't let your family be displaced in the summer heat or freezing cold winters next time there's a power outage. Call the experts at Nashville Generators and be worry-free the next time bad weather comes to our area. Invest in a reliable system that automatically comes on to keep the pumps pumping, the kitchen cooking, and the family frolicking no matter what Mother Nature throws your way. Nashville Generators is the talk of the town. Go to NashvilleGenerators.com or call 615-885-1124 to start prepping now.
We want to hear from you.
Thanks for taking the call.
Join the conversation. Call or text at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. This is Chase, Willy, and D-Mase on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and on the Game Nashville app.
Oh, man, this is bringing back memories right here. The old Top Gun soundtrack here. the original Top Gun.
Yes.
Right here. Not Maverick, not this past summer, but going back to the 80s here. We're back here on Chase, Willy, and D-Mase. Yes, I am dating myself by throwing that musical reference out there. Willie Donick here with you, along with former NFL great Derek Mason on this Friday afternoon. We got the heavy hitters. We just had our Ask D-Mase. We just talked to Eddie George, who's got his TSU Tigers in action tomorrow against Middle Tennessee, and now we bring on ESPN analyst Louis Riddick to the show. Always great to pick his brain there. Louis, thank you so much for joining us once again here on the show. I want to ask you first about Saquon Barkley. I noticed on your Twitter you broke down some film on him. Here, of course, as you would expect, everybody's trying to say, why didn't the defense stop those big plays that he had? Sometimes we probably fail to give the running back on the other side some credit, but it looks to me like you think Saquon Barkley is starting to rediscover the great form that he had a couple years ago pre-injury.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's totally just a function of, well, it's not totally. As it pertains to Saquon, it's a function of his health and his confidence mentally in what he can do physically. So now he doesn't think about it anymore. Now it's just, I'm just Saquon. I'm just doing what I do. I'm running downhill. I'm jump cutting. I'm moving laterally. I'm getting it north and south. I'm finishing with authority. I can stop on a dime on the sideline. The one run he had before the long run that he had, the 69 or 60-plus yard, I think it was 69 yards, he had a run earlier in the game where it was the same kind of G pull scheme to the left where, he is flying through the hole and he puts on the brakes. And I don't know if it was Byard. It was either – it might have been Kevin. It might have been Amani who just went flying past him, or maybe it was David Long. I'm just trying to remember which guy it was, but he put on the brakes. The guy went past him, then he stopped and started again. And I'm going, yeah, he's not thinking about that knee at all. He's just reacting instinctively now. And this offensive line is just playing better. They really seem to have found a nice mix along their offensive line in New York that is much more physical now. Andrew Thomas looks like the former number one pick out of Georgia, looks totally different than he looked as a rookie. He's totally turned his game around. He's healthy again. And it just seems like Brian Daboll's infused that team with a lot of juice, with a lot of confidence. And otherwise you don't do what they did down in Tennessee on opening day like that if you don't have a different kind of culture and different kind of attitude. And a lot of that starts with Saquon.
Meanwhile, Lewis, you're big into roster building, the choices that are tough when you are dealing with the salary cap. The ramifications of the A.J. Brown trade are interesting. It's interesting that the Titans had pretty good success in the passing game on Sunday, not as good as they wanted to in the running game. But as you look at the Titans roster, right now the perception seems to be they're down. They're not maybe as good as they were last year. But as you look at their roster, is there hope that they can still be a contender in the AFC?
Yeah, look, I think on the offensive side, remember last year's Monday night game against Buffalo, right? I've watched it a couple different times now. When, as they say, Mike Tomlin likes to say, when the rubber met the road in the second half, who did they go to when they started throwing the football? There were so many times up in the booth we were going, they're going to 11 here. This is AJ's time. It's his time. They're trying to stop Derek. They're going to be one-on-one. You could just see it as plain as day. It's just lined up straight across the board. Micah Hyde sitting in the middle of the field. I said, they're going man-to-man on A.J. Brown. Man-to-man. And what was Ryan doing? He was hitting them every time. Every single time. Who is that guy now? Is it really going to be Kyle Phillips? Is that going to be the guy? And that's not being disrespectful to Kyle Phillips, but that's who Ryan talked about, is him having a bunch of confidence in him and having a great relationship with him. Traylon looks like A.J. Brown, but we know we can't say that he's A.J. Brown at this point in his career. But he looks like him. He runs some routes the very same way. I mean, look, Derek, those shallow intermediate crossers across the field off a play action pass. I mean, he looks like A.J. running across the field. But can he be counted on to do that kind of thing? And where's Robert Woods? I know it's one game. It's one game. Robert Woods plays 46 snaps and has 2 targets or 1 target. I mean, between him and Hooper, they had 4 targets together last week. Who's it going to be? Now, they have time to figure that out. But I think this is why, Todd Downing is going to be facing a lot of questions here in the short and long term, because that's his job. His job is to figure out now, well, in crunch time, who's that dude? We knew it was 11 before. Who is it now? Is it 2? Is it 16? Is it 18? Who is it? And I think it'll be by committee, but somebody's got to step up, and somebody's going to be that guy. It can't always be by committee all year long. At some point, the game becomes about players. The game becomes about, other than 22, who is our guy? Who is our guy when we need it? And they're going to have to figure that out. So I think, there's going to be more probably questions than answers at this point when you're talking about from a team building perspective offensively. Who are going to be the people that they lean on? We knew who that was last year. Defensively, it's going to be right down the middle are going to be the guys who have to make the plays. I mean, Jeffrey has to make the plays. Kevin has to make the plays. Amani has to make the plays. Bud's going to have to show up and make plays. Danico Autry's going to have to make – and these guys are all capable of doing it. The secondary in particular is going to be, and I mean under the gun, stressed on Monday night. Stressed. Because Buffalo is humming. And you know what the cool thing about Buffalo is now? Maybe not cool for Titans fans, but Buffalo wants to run that rock with authority now. Now they want to try and bloody your nose a little bit and hit you in the mouth a little bit. That's just how they came. They went out against the Rams and did the same thing that the 49ers always did against the Rams. Get an 11 personnel, 21 personnel with a fullback and come out there and just knock the living crap out of your edge players and widen that C gap, D gap, so they can get downhill on those off tackle zones and or they call them bob, back on back, whatever you want to call it. I don't get into all that offensive terminology there, Derek, but that's what they do. But that's what they were trying to do. And see, when you combine that with their spread passing game, and then their RPO game, and Josh's ability to run, good luck. Good luck. But see, Tennessee's always been able to play that tough guy, back alley, street ball game with this team, and that's why they've been beating them. And so, can they do it again up here in Buffalo in this environment? It's fascinating to me.
We're talking with Louis Riddick, ESPN NFL analyst. Actually, he's part of the broadcasting team for the Bills and the Titans this weekend. Well, Monday night. alongside Steve Levy, Dan Orlowski, and Laura Rutledge. So great team together. So I know, that game will be called by you guys. You guys will do a good job with that. Now, Lewis, you just talked about Buffalo's what they want to do in regards to the run game, because we know in past history with Buffalo, in particular Josh Allen, that he's been the bulk of their running game. And, you don't want the quarterback always to be the guy that you look to make those crucial yards running the football. Do they have the ability to just turn around and give it to those two backs that they got? Now, those backs are good. Their yards per average are good, but it always seems like it comes down to Josh Allen running a football to get crucial yards.
Yeah, Derek, I don't think there's any question that Sean McDermott would like for them to lessen the responsibility, decrease the responsibility on Josh, and have Devin Singletary and have Zach Moss and have James Cook carry the load, and have those guys be able to, when they need it or when they want it, just go ahead and hit that thing downhill, get us 4 yards a pop, keep us in 2nd and 6, 3rd and 2, so then we can just open up the playbook with Josh and do whatever we want to do on those crucial conversion downs. I think none of these backs are going to – look, they're not Derrick Henry. They're not Saquon. They're not Alvin Kamara. So they're not those kind of workhorses, but I think by committee, they can get it done as long as – I think this is even more important. This offensive line continues to play with the kind of physicality he played with in week 1. That's something McDermott's been after since he got there in Buffalo. He's been reshuffling this offensive line year after year after year, because even though they move the ball up and down the field and they can throw the ball over a yard, he doesn't like the fact that when it came to the run game, they weren't able to impose their will. That's just who he is, and that's who he wants his team to be. And now they may have 5 guys that can kind of play that game, and y'all are familiar with one of them, Roger Saffold, now being there starting at left guard, who I think is as big a signing for them as anyone they added this offseason, including Vaughn. Because Roger, you guys know how physical he is. You know how dominant he can be in the run game. And he showed that against the Rams last week or a week and a half ago.
Now, Lewis, you spoke of Von Miller. Is he our – this day and age, Deion Sanders, in regards to a hired gun? We saw Deion go from Dallas to San Fran to win one Super Bowl with Dallas and then win one with San Fran. Now we've seen Von Miller go from Denver win a championship to the Rams win a championship, and now could he be the final piece that puts Buffalo over the hump to win theirs?
Yeah, man, he could. He could. And I'll tell you, Derek, it's more than just about his pass rushing expertise. And I got a chance to go to Vegas this past summer. He invited me to go to his pass rush summit that he has out there with that he puts on with Chuck Smith and DeMarcus Ware and Max Crosby. I mean, all these guys were out there. Chandler Jones, where they go for an entire day on the field in the classroom just talking about pass rush and how to set offensive tackles up, how to throw the best moves, when to use a move, when not to use a move, get off, foot placement, all that stuff. Von's impact on Buffalo, as far as him being a guy who can lead, teach, share his knowledge that he had passed down to him from DeMarcus Ware, is what I think at this point in his career makes him even more valuable than him coming out there and being able to beat tackles with speed, power, running games, which he can all still do. But it's his mind now. It's his mind and really, like, he's kind of like the godfather of the pass rushers now, that everyone goes to and talks about pass rush moves with the same way people did with DeMarcus. And it's actually really, really cool to see, man, because, as we get older and we start utilizing our mind more than our body, me being an old man now thinking about it in that way, I love that about Vaughn, man. I love that about him. And he talks about how, Aaron Donald talks about how that's exactly what how he passed his wisdom on to Aaron last year during that key crucial stretch for L.A. late in the season. He told Aaron, look, man, you may be the best player to ever play this game, period, regardless of position. And I know you like to lead by example, but this team needs to hear you. Don't just show them. Tell them. Talk to them, especially when it's in crunch time. Tell them, I got this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to show you all exactly how we need to do things. And he said it took his game to another level. Aaron said that. See, that's the kind of effect Von's having now on teams. And then when it comes time to close a game out, you better be as an offensive lineman, as an offensive line unit, and as an offense overall, you better know where number 40 is, because he will wreck your night. Mm-hmm. He will wreck your night. And I'm sure, I know Mike Vrabel's aware of that.
Well, I think that will be echoing in a lot of people's minds if he wrecks the night for the Titans. Lewis told us this on Friday. Hopefully that doesn't happen for a lot of people around here. But Lewis, thank you so much for coming on with us. Enjoy the broadcast. We'll be watching on Monday night. But as always, we appreciate your time and insights.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot, guys.
Yep. Great stuff. Lewis Riddick will be in the booth Monday night in Buffalo with Steve Levy, Dan Orlovsky, Laura Rutledge, part of the ESPN crew, and, of course, locally, you can see it on Fox 17 as well here. But always great to pick his brain. Great football mind, Lewis Riddick. When we come back, we'll have our daily trivia question. We got best shots of the week coming up a little bit later. So we're coming down the home stretch on this Friday here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
It's week 2 of the NFL. And the two-tone blue head to Buffalo to take on the Bills.
Bills driving for the lead. And Allen throws. Touchdown inside. Isaiah McKenzie.
Join Jared Stillman, Derek Mason, and Eddie George live at Twin Peaks and Cool Springs for NFL pregame on Monday as they get you set for the Titans on Monday Night Football. Join us live on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hi guys, it's Andrew with Hillside Medical Clinic. Is erectile dysfunction damaging your relationship? Are you sick of the pill and all the side effects? Well, welcome to the future. We have a major medical breakthrough. Hillside Medical Clinic uses the most advanced form of wave therapy. Backed by 60 clinical studies, our technology uses pressure waves to repair and open up blood vessels. We've helped countless men get rid of their ED. But what is the true end result? Their relationship, even their lives, improve drastically. If you're ready to regain your love life, call us right now, and not only will the assessment and ultrasound be free, we'll also give you a gift that produces immediate results in the bedroom. It almost never fails. This is worth $550, and it's free to callers right now. 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and experience what I call the happiness ripple effect. Call Hillside Medical Clinic now, 615-576-5000.
Need a new tractor, zero-turn mower, utility vehicle? Try it and buy it at Coleman Tractor of Nashville's Kubota Field Event, Thursday, September 15th at Nashville Gun Club during the Shooting Hunger Sporting Clays Fun Shoot at one of Coleman Tractor's biggest sales events of the year. Demo, subcompact, compact, utility tractors, and more. Ask about competitive financing offers. Get a coupon for up to $250 and enter to win an Orca cooler. Don't miss Coleman Tractor of Nashville's Kubota Field Event, 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. on September 15th at Nashville Gun Club during the Shooting Hunger Sporting Clays Fun Shoot.
A new fair is hatching in Nashville. Come on out and experience 10 days of dinner shows, barnyard animals, culture arts, sporting events, and 4 nights of Nashfest with themed music. We have something for everyone now through September 18th. Skip the line and buy online at nashfair.fun. A regional fair with an urban flair. The Nashville Fair. It's a hatchin' good time.
The 2 most sought-after, most prestigious names in bridal jewelry come together for one epic event next weekend at Genesis Diamonds.
Tacori and Viraggio, the world's premier designers, will be showing off their entire collections. All the latest designs, many showcased for the first time ever, with up to $5,000 in savings.
See the latest from Viraggio, handcrafted on 5th Avenue in New York by true artisans with unmatched attention to detail and the highest quality standards. Viraggio is the only ring that can be customized for every woman's specific design desires. Come explore the entire Veragio collection at Genesis.
If you're engagement ring shopping, this is a once-a-year event you can't miss. Other jewelers aren't even allowed to carry these iconic American-made brands.
Also for this event, Genesis is showcasing an expanded selection of GIA-certified diamonds in all shapes and sizes.
Next weekend, September 23rd through 25th, take advantage of special incentives, zero-interest financing, and as much as $5,000 in savings. Only at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Your home for Hit City is 94.9 The Fan.
Your Nashville Sounds continue their 6-game series against Jacksonville at First Horizon Park.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Sounds win.
Pre-game at 6:50.
On your home for Sounds baseball, 94.9 The Fan and The Fan app.
Hey Nashville, this is Laura Rutledge from the SEC Network, and you're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Yeah, look, I think on the offensive side, remember last year's Monday night game against Buffalo, right? I've watched it a couple of different times now. When, as they say, like Mike Tomlin likes to say, when the rubber met the road in the second half, who did they go to when they started throwing the football? There were so many times up in the booth we were going, they're going to 11 here. This is AJ's time.
Mm-hmm.
It's his time. They're trying to stop Derek. They're going to be one-on-one. You could just see it as plain as day. It's just lined up straight across the board. Micah Hyde sitting in the middle of the field. I said, they're going man-to-man on A.J. Brown. Man-to-man. And what was Ryan doing? He was hitting him every time. Every single time. Who is that guy now? Is it really going to be Kyle Phillips? Is that going to be the guy? And that's not being disrespectful to Kyle Phillips, but that's who Ryan talked about, is him having a bunch of confidence in him and having a great relationship with him. Traylon looks like A.J. Brown, but we know we can't say that he's A.J. Brown at this point in his career. But he looks like him. He runs some routes the very same way. I mean, look, Derek, those shallow intermediate crossers across the field off a play-action pass, I mean, he looks like A.J. running across the field. But can he be counted on to do that kind of thing? And where's Robert Woods?
Yeah, we could have gone on. Where's Robert Woods? But we wanted to focus on the two rookies that are in there and the way that the Titans offense is perceived right now in the aftermath of the A.J. Brown.
Mm-hmm.
Great perspective from Louis Riddick, who was in the booth doing the game last year. A great victory for the Titans over the Bills on Monday night in Nashville. They got him again, this time in Buffalo on Monday, but it is a new season. Speaking of that, let's give you another Titans-Bills question for our trivia question, and then we'll get Derek's take on what Louis broke down there. Because, look, they can't get away from it. We've been saying it. It's going to be a theme until they prove otherwise. Can they be a menacing offense with the personnel that they have this year, especially against a great team like the Bills? Speaking of the Bills, here's the trivia question today. And we've got the same prize we've had all week. Tickets to the Ryman and Jim Jeffries on October the 8th. This will be off the air. You can't text the answer. You must call Nick back there at 615-737-1025. Remember, not last year, but the year before, the crazy COVID game that got moved that was played at night. I think was it a Wednesday night? It was October 13th. It was a weird midweek game after the Titans had the outbreak. But the Titans absolutely stunned the Bills, won easy, and that was the game that Derrick Henry had the monster stiff arm. Mm-hmm. Who was the Bills player who he stiff-armed that night and became an iconic viral clip? 615-737-1025. Who was the Bills player that got posterized or YouTubeized or whatever you want to call it?
He just became a meme.
He became a human meme forever. Forever. 615-737-1025. Who was that Bills defender?
And you can't text it in, people.
You cannot text it in. We're already looking at the text. Somebody's already texted the answer.
Exactly.
Nope.
Can't do it.
Got to call.
Got to call in.
Got to call if you want the prize. All right, D-Mase, what did you think of Lewis's perspective on the Titans offense?
Well, he's spot on. Because if a team finds out that you have a glaring weakness, then they're going to, pounce on it. The Titans' glaring weakness, right, as of now, is their passing game. And I know their efficiency is good, but in regards to their passing game, who is that playmaker? Who is that guy that can, Ryan can drop back and say, that's the guy I want to throw. That's the guy that's going to make that big catch. That's the guy that's going to score that touchdown. That's the guy when they line up, and stack that box, I can go to him over and over and over again. Riddick pointed it out. That was AJ last year, regardless of what. Big corner, small corner, linebacker, it didn't matter. He was going to A.J. Brown because A.J. was that type of playmaker. Well, this season, who's that playmaker? Who's that guy in a crucial situation that they can go to? Yes, I know that they went to Kyle Phillips on that third down play, big play, last drive. He gets them the first down, sets him up for a field goal that they ultimately missed. But he's not A.J. Brown. He does not present the same fear that A.J. Brown did when he was in the Titans uniform. What's going to happen is if they go to Buffalo and Buffalo go walk into their stadium and stacks that box and limits Derrick Henry in rushing, but also are able to play man-to-man across the board, and your passing game isn't what it should be, you might as well mark that down, because that's what every defense from here on out will show you. They will say, we're not going to allow Derrick Henry in that run game to beat us. We're going to make them pass the football. And we don't think they have good enough pass catchers to win a ball game. It didn't happen this past weekend. And if it doesn't happen again this weekend, be prepared, fans, for opponents to do the same exact thing. That's why I said, listen, they got to find a way. I don't care about getting everybody involved. I don't. That means nothing to me. Get your playmakers involved. Get the guys that you brought in here that you paid millions of dollars to that has shown that they can make plays in this league. Robert Woods, Austin Hooper. You drafted Traylon Burks first round. Let these guys go out and be the players that they're capable and that you believe that they are. Don't just have them on the sideline or just have them, just running routes. Get them involved in the game. It would be crazy for me to have, I don't know, just say LeBron James on the bench while it's a crucial time in the game and I need some big baskets. Yeah. I'll be an idiot as the coach to have LeBron on the bench. And I'll be even more of an idiot if I bring him in the game and don't try to get him a shot.
It's the movie Hoosiers, right?
Exactly.
Where Gene Hackman says, we're going to use Jimmy as a decoy. And everybody looked at him like he was crazy. Uh-huh. And Jimmy just said, just give it to me.
Exactly.
I'll make the shot.
Just don't. So, when all else, just give me the rock.
Sometimes you got to just not think too much and go with
It's not about I need to get all these guys involved. It's about I need to get the right guys involved. Woods, Hooper, Burks. They need to be involved, as well as continue to get Derrick Henry involved.
That will be something to look forward to see if the Titans go a different direction with that distribution. But until they prove it, it will be the question mark. You could hear it from Louis Riddick. When we come back, our final segment, we'll give you the answer to our trivia question, our winner for the day. We do have a winner. And we'll have our best shots of the week as well. But, Derek, get it started. Tell us about what's on your mind here.
Absolutely. You know what's on mine. It's betus.com, people. That's on my mind. You know what? It's because each and every week we got a bunch of games. And if you're going to do some betting, you might as well go to betus.com. And it's back for their 28th year of NFL action with the industry's biggest sign-up bonus of up to 200%. Yes, that's 200%, folks. BetUS offers their members the opportunity to cash in on all your favorite leagues, including the NBA, MLB, NFL, and more. They've also got hundreds of new casino games, including the coolest European slots, and they're there, and their live dealers are waiting for you at the table. Live dealers, people. Live dealers. You need a sport book with integrity and longevity. You need to know that you will be getting paid. That's most important. You need to know a sport book that offers everything, including live betting, MMA, golf, horse racing, esports, and all crazy kinds of bets. So what you need to do today, right now, is call BetUS. That's 1-800-79-BET-US. That's 1-800-79-BET-US. And they will walk you through setting up your account. Nobody in the industry, and I mean nobody, gives you better bonuses than BetUS. So join now and mention the best sports show in town, 102.5, and you can get up to 200% in bonuses on your first deposit. That's 200% on your first deposit. Nobody beats that. So head to BetUS.com and join today. That's BetUS, where the games begin.
The college football season never stops. ESPN college football analyst Trevor Matich joins Stillman and Company every Tuesday at 4:30.
They've got to do what Nick Saban in Alabama has done so successfully over the last 10 years.
Presented by Houston Clinic Orthopedics on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 Code Red meteorologist Greg Bobis. High temperatures today a little warmer than yesterday. Upper 80s to near 90 degrees. A little bit of humidity you'll feel by late in the day, but no rain. Plenty of sunshine, and that continues going into the weekend. No rain until next week.
Brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Tune in to ESPN 102.5 The Game every Tuesday afternoon at 4:30 for ESPN's Trevor Matich, joining me, Jared Stillman, on Stillman and Company as we dive deep into the college football world and all the latest from the SEC. It's all brought to you by Houston Clinic Orthopedics, when experience matters.
Golfers, tee it up this fall at Edwin Watts Golf Shops for big savings. Save up to $150 off on Ping G425 woods. Upgrade your gear with discounted Wilson stand and cart golf bags. And stock up on TaylorMade Distance Plus golf balls. Now 2 dozen for $35. Don't miss these items and more happening now at Edwin Watts Golf Shops, and get a free custom fitting today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee, or shop us online at worldwidegolfshops.com.
Hey, it's Chase McCabe, and every season is screwball season in my house. No matter the time of year, that rich, smooth taste just hits the spot. Y'all know Screwball. It's made with real whiskey, peanuts, and peanut butter, and it's just flat out delicious. It's my favorite. However you take it, as a shot, in an espresso martini, or a peanut butter old-fashioned, make it a Screwball peanut butter whiskey. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2022 Screwball Spirits, LLC, San Diego, California. Whiskey with natural flavors, 35% alcohol by volume.
It's football season, y'all, and Third and Home at Germantown is the place to watch all the action. Hang out on the patio or grab a spot on Saturday or Sunday in front of one of the giant video wall screens to watch your favorite team with drink specials, wing flavors of the week, burgers, and more. You want to be here.
Jared Stillman.
If you get 3 games where he doesn't turn the ball over, you're going to the Super Bowl.
Caroline Fenton.
I don't know if he would be open to joining another team.
Stillman and Company. Afternoons from 2 to 6.
Presented by TriStar Moving.
On Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
I'm ready to step this up a notch.
You're listening to Chase, Willy, and D-Mase on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
Coming down the home stretch here, final segment. Chase, Willy, and D-Mase. Looking forward to the weekend of action. We've had a great show. We've got an answer and a winner to our trivia question. 2 years ago, you remember it, the bizarre outbreak during the midst of the COVID. Boy, we don't want to go back to those days. Goodness, those were strange days. But they had the strange postponement. They played on a Wednesday night. We do have a winner.
Okay.
The iconic stiff arm. Derrick Henry, what was the name of the Bills defender? And it was Josh Norman. Who forever will be posterized, forever memeized.
He's forever a meme.
Forever a meme. So, Nick, who was our winner today?
Cole is our winner, fellas.
People were texting saying, the line's busy. It's Josh Norman. But that's the thing. You got to be quick. You got to get the phone call in. It's the first caller that gets it right. We go old school there. So, with that in mind, now that we have our winner, we can move on to best shots of the week.
Chase, Willy, and D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chase McCabe, I forgot my name for a second. Chase McCabe, Willy Donick, Derek Mason with you.
Do we need one of those stickers that says, hi, my name is?
Yes. I need a prompter. 615-737-1025. I'm going to read this text. Gentlemen, how we doing?
Hey, we're doing wonderful. We need to put that in the promo. What you just said?
All-pro receiver?
Yeah, instead of just saying, Titans receiver or
well,
NFL
it says
receiver.
NFL wide receiver.
Yeah,
but if you would like your accolades.
Come on. We got to put them down there, Chase.
Okay.
Just
so,
like I think now we just need to start adding the suit because we was at the golf tournament and
yeah, that's true.
People were calling you the suit.
Do you are there any other accolades I need to know about? Let's see, AFC champion.
I came in second in the spelling bee in the 5th grade.
Okay, we'll put that in there. Do you do anything at Mumford High School?
I set records in Mumford High School.
So record setter in Mumford High School.
And receiver my senior year.
If you're like my kids, you would very much prefer to text and not call.
I think all kids are like that.
I think a lot of people are kind of going that way. Like, well, how about just calling your teacher or your coach?
I'll text them.
Oh, I'm not doing that.
I'll
text him. I'll text him. Yeah. I'm not calling him. What about your uncle? How about just calling your uncle? No, I'm not texting. I'm not calling him. Oh, I'll text him. He's your uncle. You can't talk to your uncle.
That's how kids are. That's their love language.
Yeah, it is. It is. I think one of my kids told me to text them from downstairs. Don't call up to the thing. Just text me. But you're here. We're here in the house. We can talk. No, just text me. I'll come down. I'll come down for dinner. Just text me when it's ready.
Did you text them? Yes.
I was yelling, "Hey, dinner's ready!"
You know, you gotta let him be a pelican. He's a pelican. Let him fly, man. Let him fly.
Why a pelican, D-Mase?
You have never seen the movie? What was it? With Mark Wahlberg and
that's a peacock. That's not.
No, yeah, peacock, not pelican.
Yeah,
you're
that's
right.
from
Peacock.
The Other Guys.
Yeah, The Other Guys. That was one of my favorite movies. But yeah.
So wait, we got a peacock and a pelican. Yeah. Those are two kind of
different
looking birds.
Yeah. But let them both fly, man.
Let them both fly. Yeah. What the heck? Yeah.
They got wings. Let them fly.
Can a peacock fly? Dano says a peacock can fly at least to the top of a 2-story house.
Oh, see?
So peacocks can fly.
Yeah, peacocks can fly.
Okay.
They got wings.
According to Dano, maybe we have to double check this during the break because are we sure that Dano knows? It certainly seems like he knows.
I think penguins can fly a little bit too.
They can?
I think so.
Certain ones can. I think it's a puffin.
Yeah, see?
Listen to the rookie back there dropping knowledge about birds.
It. Absolutely.
Man, we got everything on this show.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there was
Michael
another
Jackson.
Michael Jackson wide receiver.
Yeah, Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, there was a great.
He was a thriller.
He was a thriller. There was also another Michael Jackson.
But they eventually told him to beat him.
Yeah. They replaced him with Billie Jean.
There you go.
There was a pitcher, Michael Jackson, for a long, long time. Pitched for 1 million teams. It was good every year, but pitched for like 20 years.
So he couldn't stop till he got enough.
He couldn't stop till he got enough.
And they just told him, just leave me alone. All right, let's get to sports.
Do you remember the time I pitched?
But hey, you know what? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you're black or white.
Hey, there you go.
No! Nick is shutting us down. He's shutting us down. He's like, why did I play that song?
Is the Titans window closed or not?
We all have to stay on at the end, and we don't really care to chit-chat either. I don't really care to chit-chat with y'all either, but we at least give you the dignity of staying on till the end of the line. Nobody cares if he's got to eat quesadillas to fill that big old belly. All right? I mean, can we start fining him like $100 or something?
For not getting the complete segment. Yes, I get that.
Yeah, I mean, seriously.
That medically but he has a plate in his foot. Like he's getting used to running with a plate in his foot, screws in his foot. You know, how does?
Can he eat off that plate?
I don't think so.
I wouldn't
want to.
I don't like feet.
If there's a guy that can do it without,
God, man.
Like I'd like to know how many players have done the same thing.
All right, we gotta go on.
Oh boy.
Oh man.
We had some fun this week.
Yeah, we did.
We did have some fun this week. We learned about pelicans, peacocks, penguins, plates.
Yeah.
We did it all.
Spelling bees.
So Derek, you've got your show coming up. Yeah, that is a little factoid that we learned about Derek. This Ask D-Mase segment has really shed some light on that you were a spelling bee runner-up back in the day. Who won? Where's the champion today?
I have no idea. It was like 4th or 5th grade. I know I came in second. I forgot the word I couldn't spell. But, yeah, I came in second place, man. I was proud of myself because I was nervous. Solid. I was nervous, too. And, you know, when you're nervous as a kid, man, you misspell dog.
That is true.
Can you use that in the sentence, please? This dog.
Can you give us the origin of the word?
Exactly.
Is that Latin? So we got. I'm going to be heading to New York. I'm going to catch the Mets game on Sunday. Then there's NHL broadcasters meeting. So you and Chase, you and the suit will have Monday's show, and then you will have the special coverage, our NFL preview show with Chris Sanders.
Yes,
that's coming up on Monday night. So just give us a sneak
Twin
peek.
Peaks.
Yeah, Twin Peaks, Cool Springs.
Yes,
right?
Cool Springs.
How you feeling about Monday right now?
You know what? It's I think if the Titans come out and play the way they did the first half, if they play a full game like that, they give themselves an opportunity to win. But I just don't think, from what I've seen from game one, they don't have enough playmakers to overcome such a really, really good Buffalo Bill team.
All right, take the weekend to think about it.
Yes, I will.
Stillman and company in the on-deck circle. They're ready to rock. D-Mace, have a great weekend.
All right, you do the same, Willie. And we out.
Have a great day, guys. Enjoy the sunshine.
You love the game.